Yeah, that's so much better.
Fine and prominent. That's how my gut floor is doing. Just don't want my gut floor doing this. I want it to thrive.
Ooh, we got that fire new intro song made by Mr. Hardwick's himself. So shout out to Mr. Hardwick. Thank you so much for the intro song. But that's it. We got a new intro song. Thanks everybody for tuning in to StopGap. It's the week of July 19th. And in the headlines for today, I started doing the headlines. And every blood pressure monitor in a 20-mile radius started to go off. So I rage quit. I rage quit the headlines today. And I'm still fucking heated. Like, I can physically feel my heart pumping in my chest. Like, when I breathe, I can feel, it's like, dum, 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 dum. So we'll dive right into that. We got a special guest on tonight. We got Fresho 3 on the show tonight, along with the regular co-host. Alicia is not able to make it tonight. Shindo's power went out during In the Mix, so he won't be able to make it either. But
seems like his power goes out a lot, huh?
Well, yeah, Tennessee gets a lot of heavy storms, dude.
Oh yeah.
But let's jump right into it. I'm not doing the fucking headlines because I don't want to have an aneurysm on the show.
Anyway.
Chaos reigns. That's the headline.
Well, the title of the show is Enough Rope.
Well, I mean, a live aneurysm will certainly get viewers. So
that's a good point.
If you don't end up with that
recorded. Dude, oh, hold on. Fresh. We tried to get Graham to pull his. He had a tooth that was like loose and coming loose. We tried to get him to pull it on air, and he fucking wouldn't do it for the show.
Well, here's the thing.
That's like a crime.
Yeah, I'll do it.
You know, no, that shows that you're not dedicated to the show, Graham.
No, motherfucker, I'm gonna pull one out that isn't loose. No. How about that?
You gotta think of the viewers, Graham.
I know. I never think of that. I'm always like never thinking about these shows.
You're all talk.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, when I turn my camera on in like the next month, when I get it figured out, I think the mic was a problem. Trying to get the camera figured out is even worse. I'll pull a tooth out, no problem.
All right, so last week. It's nice that we got Fresh on because last week Concrete and Fresh met in person.
That's right.
A couple weeks ago, yeah.
No,
a couple weeks ago, yeah. At this point,
was it a couple weeks ago? Because I thought you showed us that picture on like Tuesday.
It was Sunday of it was last Sunday because it was on Mix and Vixens.
No, it was.
That was.
We were judging, weren't we? No, it was 2 weeks ago because I put the picture on Mix and Vixens when you sent it to me. And we were judging last week, so yeah, it was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Once
again, Emily, I will never forgive you. She was making fun of me for being short.
That's one of the greatest pictures I've ever seen.
Well, it doesn't help that I look like an absolute fucking goon, too. Like, I look like I have a couple missing chromosomes. It's not a good picture.
Yeah, it does. It also doesn't help that you're, what, like 6'4"?
6'10" or something.
I'm like they're like 6'3", 6'4", wearing those boots, but I'm also like intensely fat right now too. So I'm a mountain of a man currently. It's
nobody.
Do either of you two like hockey?
Nobody recognized you, did they?
Okay, because I was say you guys could make like Goon 3 the movie. Goon and Goon 2 is a hockey movie. So now you guys are stars of the third movie.
How do I search
it
just
could be
a
fantastic.
single...
Just like concrete, just like slowly lumbering around the ring, and I'm sneaking around behind him.
Yeah. I don't know, Spike. Hey, no one recognized you, huh, Rick?
No, and I want to state that, right? Like, so I'm like fucking vacillating on whether or not to go to this thing because I was excited about meeting Fresh, yes, but I was thinking, this isn't gonna be a big deal. Graham gives me like a month long gassing up about how like I'm gonna be like super vape famous and shit. It's like nothing happens that way. Like nobody watches DIY shit.
But if they were too, they would know who you were. I thought it was a DIY convention, and I thought you were saying.
Why did you think it was a DIY convention?
I don't know.
Said it was a DIY convention.
Rick, I can't find that image, and I need you to send it to me.
I think I got confused between this one and the one later or something. I don't know. I don't really know much of anything, but I'm going with it, and I'm thinking that you're going to be recognized. You're only on every show.
I'm just like, your faith in me is awe-inspiring. It really is.
Visualize, I see what's going to happen. So sometimes you're going to be big.
Like, kid. I had so much social anxiety going into that because, like, I'm not that guy, and you're like gassing me up.
No, I knew. No. I wasn't gassing you up. I was getting you prepared in case it did happen. Because you don't want to be the guy that's a dick that doesn't have, That's all I was doing. But, I mean, everyone saw you. They're nervous to go up to you.
Yeah. There were some people like, hey, is that concrete? I'm like, yeah, it's concrete. Go talk to him.
He's lying. See, I knew it.
That sounds patronizing.
I had like 4 or 5 people come up and want selfies with me. I was like, really?
Yeah.
They were because they were like, oh, it's that dude from the Dark Crystal.
That's right. That's exactly right.
What a dick! You're not 2 minutes in.
Like time's really been rough on your hairline, dude. But
oh man.
Or Henson was just really good with wigs. That's all that was.
No, dude. At least your hairline, like it's easy to manage for you. You just like I'm guessing for you it's a quick shave, right?
It's about between 3 and 5 minutes, depending on how long I've let things go.
See, if I want to shave it because the hair on the side of my fucking heads is so thick still, I've gotta do like 3 or 4 coats of shaving on the sides.
Try to act like you're
the top, dude, the hair. Look, you can see the hair coming back in on the sides. Look at the top. The top's got nothing. I'm telling you, the hair on my sides is thick. You wonder why I was wearing a hat last week? It was to hide that, like, it's fucking like brown and fat on the sides and nothing on the top.
Just got a monk's tonsure walking around all the time.
Yeah,
that is exactly what I was thinking about. I was thinking about a monk.
Yeah. You know how fucked up that is?
It's
that
fucked.
Your hair could be that thick. It's like God's telling you,
if you grow,
this is what your shit could look like.
Grow it long. When you leave the service, grow it long, and then you can have like a true old style top knot, the real deal.
Yeah.
The actual way.
That'd be dope. Yeah.
I mean, I'd be a little worried about Skittles just wandering around with his top knot, just like wandering the streets with a katana, dispensing justice as he sees fit. Like,
he definitely looks like somebody who knows a little something about mall knives.
Yeah, let's head to
exactly.
DC. Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh no! Oh no! Guys, stop talking.
Okay. Don't keep us waiting.
Okay. So thank you guys for tuning in to the StopGap Stop Hands Back Tits Participation Awards Battle Crowd Ads. Anyone with the Haitians join Ice, Small Knife Ninja, Pumping Up, A10, Warthog over to the Bourgeoisie, Black and White Blockchain, Black Hole Explosion, The Greatest Generation, Senator Congressman Junior, Money and Dick, Stank Cosby, Coffee Date, Peppa Pig Gangsta, Who Yada, Shape Gay, Puerto Rican, Genie, Goodnight Biscuit, Soy, Hormonal, Canadian, White House Fire, The Loneliest Tooth, Womp Womp, Just a Scotch to the right. Youth Soccer Cave, Orgy, Sweaty Brazilian Leg Kicking, Hang Myself Radio Show.
I like the Soy Boy Momo, the way you did that one.
The funny part too is I know where I started at, because like the episodes before I didn't know, so I know which one, like where. So now I listen to how much longer it is since I've joined.
Did we start that on Twitch, or is that
was a Twitch thing?
On Twitch,
that was it. No, because I think we started new when we started YouTube.
Yeah, I don't know. No, I think because I think
because I was here for like the second YouTube episode, and there were still a bunch of titles before that already.
Yeah, you were here for you started with the A10 Warthog, didn't you? Yeah. I remember that show. That was a good fucking show. No, it's not. It's not a fucking drill. It goes bat, bat.
Yeah.
And those shells are fucking huge too.
They are, and they're fucking spent uranium shells.
Yeah, depleted uranium goes through anything.
Did they take those out?
I saw an Osprey. I saw because
Dude, that's such a terrible aircraft.
Well, so because Aberdeen is close by, and there's also some like Pax River is not super far away, and so you see a bunch of like interesting aircraft from time to time, like in the Baltimore D.C. metro area. And I was driving down. It was like maybe 2 weeks ago, and I was driving 95 south. I'd just gotten into Maryland. No, I'd hit like Chesapeake House. I was like halfway there, and like a fucking Osprey is just like coming north along 95, like super slow. And I'm looking, I'm like, is that an Osprey?
And you heard it from 30 miles out?
Yeah.
That's like one of the loudest fucking aircraft.
Yeah. It was a neat idea, but it doesn't really fit with what we kind of need. But that's the problem with the A10 Warthog too, because there's
no problems with the A10 Warthog.
It kind of does fit in with what the Marines do, because the VTOL is very helpful for the Marines, and that's why the Osprey is a Marine Corps aircraft. It's not an Air Force. It's not a Navy aircraft.
That's the only one that anybody's using. When I was living in St. Mary's County, down by, I lived like a couple miles from Pax River, and I knew some guys that worked on the base, and I knew one of the Marine guys that was crew on testing, doing stuff with the Osprey down there at Pax River, where they do all the airframe testing and everything. And he had good and bad things to say about it. And then his entire crew died in that accident in Arizona.
Oh shit.
He was like, him and like another guy were like rotated out to do something else. So yeah. Sorry, don't mean to be depressing.
But yeah, don't talk shit about the Warthog either.
The A10 Warthog is an amazing aircraft that has somewhat overstayed its usage. It's kind of like
I don't think so, because you can still see like on news footage and shit that even ISIS travels in columns.
True.
And that's a quick strafing run for an A10 Warthog.
There is some use for it, but you can get a lot of the same stuff done with like a Spectre gunship that you
can't. Stop it there, sir.
Yeah, it was
designed as a tank. It was designed as a tank killer, and I don't think we're going to get any wars where we have to kill tanks anytime soon.
They're trying to replace it with the F-36, the one that they're fucking coming out with. That's just terrible.
Yeah,
it's honestly just underperforming left and right.
It's almost the same. That's what I was going to say. It's almost the same issue with the Joint Strike Fighter. As much money as we dumped into the Joint Strike Fighter, it was to fix a problem that didn't exist.
Hey, dude, that's what we do.
That's what we do. Yeah. The Germans might pop up. We might need a tank thing.
We buy billion-dollar pieces of like equipment when really we just need to focus on actual like infrastructure security, like making sure our power grids can't be shut down remotely
or hacked.
We need focus on keeping the Warthog.
You should always continuously be developing and working on next level, on next generation weapon systems, and delivery platforms and everything. But it doesn't mean you need to essentially throw out everything and then spend billions of dollars per aircraft to institute. And especially because like the Joint Strike Fighter doesn't necessarily work perfectly in all of the different roles that they want it to operate in. Like they've made there's different versions of it for different purposes, but none of them, it's that whole thing about like being a jack of all trades and a master of none type of situation.
Yeah, but the Warthog's perfect in the area of kicking ass.
There will never be a ground support platform as effective as the A10 Warthog and as reliable as the A10 Warthog. Okay. That thing can lose a wing, a tail rudder, and an engine and land on an airstrip.
Yeah,
it's true.
Like it's documented in history that thing it just doesn't fucking go down.
Yeah, no, it's a flying tank. Like I'm a fan. Just like I said, I feel like it may not have the usefulness as it once did. But I still think it is pretty awesome. It's really
for any of our current type conflicts, though, I think it's still quite useful. Because pretty much almost all of our current conflicts is at this point.
I'm gonna hold on. I'm gonna talk. We're gonna revisit this. I'm gonna talk to my dad. he retired as he was like one of the top procurement guys in the Pentagon for DoD when he retired. So like he was, a lot of times he would have a lot with the yay or no on if something was going to get funded or not. And he had said some stuff about the A-10 before, and I want to
Probably that it kicked ass.
I want to talk to him and see, so that way I can have a better argument about it, because he normally has really good insight on current and future weapon platforms within reason.
Yeah, that's right. Like I think I agree with you. We'd probably want something else if trade wars ever erupt into real wars. But like for current stuff, it's like mostly we've been picking fights with things that just have like 60-year-old whatever they could get like access.
Well, they're just riding. It's they're riding around in a Toyota Land Cruiser with a 50 cal mounted to the top of it.
Yeah, and then like I mean, or even if they do have
a Nissan truck
69 from 1962.
No, it's one of those. What's that Toyota
Datsun.
truck that they beat the hell out of on
Hiluxes.
Yeah,
it's a Toyota Hilux.
Yeah. But you always see like African warlords and Middle East, warlords always have like they always have forerunners, and then they have like jeeps with cows mounted on the back.
They got a Pier 39 shirt and tuxedo shoes on, and they're out there fighting a war.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just saying it's a hell of an endorsement that warlords all over the world use the Toyota Hilux. So.
Well, did you ever see on Top Gear like what they put that thing through? And it's
like just blew up a building underneath it, and it's still fine. Sure.
Yeah.
It's like the original Toyota Land Cruiser.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like they tried to reboot it with the YJ, but the fucking Land Cruiser can never be.
Oh, the FJ.
Yeah, the FJ. Yeah, because it was the Toyota YJ Land Cruiser, and then they made the FJ like in 2014.
I will say, my brother-in-law has one, and that thing that's a neat truck. Like I don't know that. Like if my wife had wanted one instead of the Acura, if she had wanted an FJ, I would have been all about it. But I don't think I'd get one for myself. But they are pretty neat.
Yeah,
they're very functional. It's like a better. Did you remember the Honda Element, the bread box, right? Which it's my dad had one because
the Nissan Xterra.
That's just an updated Pathfinder.
Yeah,
which is that one's proven itself. But the Element, like it's ugly as hell, right? But it was so well put together. Like there was a lot of thought. It was excellent for any sort of like outdoor activities, hauling things. Like it was a very useful, well-designed vehicle. It was just ugly as hell. And I feel like the FJ is a better looking version of that. Like it's super well thought out, the way that the interior is done, the ruggedness of it, the way it has like the storage stuff built into it, the ground clearance and all that.
Have you seen the secondary market? Have you seen the secondary market for the Element? It's fucking crazy. Those things are going for crazy money right now.
Yeah.
Once you, like I said, if you can get over the way it looks, if you do any kind of if you need to move stuff around or you do any kind of outdoor activity or whatever, it's a fantastic vehicle for that. You can hose the inside out. You can fold it because the back seats fold up into the walls, and then you can actually, because it's all rubberized and everything on the bottom, so you can just like hose the inside of it out.
All right.
You can mount bike racks inside of it. You can mount a kayak. Like
I only care if I can mount a 50 cal on it.
All right, I've got a handful of tacks ready to go. Why? So let's talk about news.
Oh.
We're getting there.
I'll be right back.
I need to get him one of them little stress balls with the eyeballs that pop out.
I think we tried that once.
So I don't want to disclose too much, but it seems like you might have a slightly more insider perspective on this, and I'm guessing
I can't confirm or deny that.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, whereas I just watch the news and feel like I'm taking fucking crazy pills, you probably know just slightly more to make you just blow blood vessels left and right.
Being in the military in general, right? What's really aggravating is that the Republican Party has always been staunch supporters of the military, right?
Very much.
Very, very much so. But what a lot of the Republicans don't understand is that military that they support is also 80% of the intelligence community in the United States. Mm-hmm. The majority of intelligence in the United States is handled by the military. Mm-hmm. It's done by enlisted military people.
Yeah.
So what Trump did in Russia when he took the word of a former fucking KGB operator over the word of his intelligence community was ostracize a big chunk of his military. And that to me is just, it's unacceptable. And it absolutely was refreshing that he got bipartisan lashback, that there were actual Republicans that were still true to their core principles enough
to true to the country instead of the party.
To call him out and say, dude, it's not all right to take the side of Putin over your officials, like the people
he's
that
a fucking moron.
Someone
inform you.
on Fox News who's actually mad at him.
That gives me faith in people again, because he's a fucking moron.
I mean,
you know,
it just,
a lot of the shit he says, you can, you know, it's whatever it is, but I mean, he's beyond now. He's doing all, it's just beyond. Way beyond.
Like I don't how many times does he have to double back on what he says for his base to go, wait a minute,
nope, it's not going to happen.
His base is
House has to for him.
It just
his base just grows. That's the thing. Is
I don't think it does. I think no, because
terrifying.
Because
it's gonna stop though.
I think
he's right. I think it does grow, but he's doing things now that you can't stick up for.
I think it grew, but there's
all along I was gonna say all along I've like there's always been something that he's done, and you're just like, all right, the dude's been bankrupt like 10 fucking times.
See,
you're gonna put him in charge of the country.
Yeah.
I put a lot of the.
I think
he set up he set up a little university system. It went fucking bankrupt.
It wasn't an accredited university, so the degrees he was giving out were fraud.
It's like Lincoln Tech, man. Those credits aren't transferred.
You get a certification that's usable at Trump Industries.
Yeah, certificate.
Like,
you know,
but
I mean, there's been all these signs that this guy is probably not going to wind up being a terrific world leader. I believe there's a method to his madness. I believe that he says whatever comes to mind, and however insulting it is to whoever, he doesn't particularly care, because he's a subscriber of that thought that any press is good press. And so as long as he's staying relevant, he doesn't give a shit.
He doesn't understand he's the fucking president, and he's going to be relevant no matter what right now.
He cares more about how he looks in the moment than what the results actually are from the things that he does.
How much he'll
do or say whatever he needs. This is my opinion, is that he will do or say whatever he needs to at the time to
look good.
To look good in his eyes, because a lot of times I don't think it looks good.
I feel like his base is shrinking.
Are from that.
Mainly because
we come together and just stop.
No, fuck you. That's what I said last week.
No. I'm saying something different. Can we stop electing anyone over the age of 70?
No, yeah, please. But
we just choose to.
I feel like his base is shrinking, mainly because, especially because of this last incident, because you see Fox News actually criticizing something that he did.
That's it. It's the beginning of the end.
I feel like that's the beginning of the end. When Fox News gets fed up with his shit.
See, I always
need to be more than just a single.
Yes, but his base don't get their news from anywhere other than Fox News. So his base is actually seeing criticism. They're actually being able to see, like, oh, maybe he's not this infallible God King.
Oh, dude, I don't think anybody thinks that.
No, I don't know that his base cares. I really don't.
I
think you're right. Yeah,
his base has always looked at him as the excuse to go out and act the way that has always been buried in him, and they've used it as an excuse to keep it real, like Donald. It's been.
Those are the assholes, though.
The question is, though, is he going to call fake news on Fox?
I mean, also Hannity made excuses for him, but that's all right because him and Hannity are complicit in the same crimes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
it's-
Sean Hannity has to stand by him because his lawyer said, stand by Trump no matter what you do, he'll pardon you.
Yeah. Well, no, the thing that Hannity pisses me off, it's not even that. It's just that, okay, regardless of what you think of Hannity, Hannity is in the same group as Bill O'Reilly and a couple of, like, Laura Maddow, whatever. Ingram. Yeah, like all those, they're not reporters.
No.
They are at a paper, they would be editorial staff. And there is a big use for editorial staff.
That's most cable news, though.
He's not a fucking reporter. He has no reason to actually be doing an interview.
And
that's most news though at this
point.
Yeah,
the problem
people call news, and that's my biggest problem.
The problem with not just Fox News is that reporters report something, right? So that's the actual news in a short segment. They report something. On all of these news channels, it happens. You've got to keep your eyes out for it. Then the opinion pieces come on because they have to be running 24/7. So they need to have their opinion pieces come on after the news. Their opinion pieces come on saying something, stating their opinion, and this isn't just Fox News. This is a symptom with all of these 24 news.
I'm not
but hold on. But the opinion pieces come on stating their opinion on what that news article means, and then the news comes on after the opinions, quoting their own opinion people, saying experts say,
because they're the experts.
Yeah,
you guys don't remember maybe,
and then the opinions become news. Right. And that's what gets plastered. That's what gets repeated. That's what gets regurgitated over and over and over again.
Wait, question. Which has been more damaging to the fabric of American society, the 24-hour news cycle or the advent of social media?
24-hour news cycle.
Yeah, that's really hard.
For sure.
Like Jerry, you don't remember probably before 9/11, or at least maybe you weren't paying attention, or I don't know that for sure, but I'm just saying before 9/11, kind of, there wasn't this. 9/11 was when I first started noticing.
Yeah,
there was a 24-hour news cycle that just.
9/11 was when the 24-hour news cycle actually got ratings. There was nothing. There was nothing really to report before 9/11.
Because people were glued to the TV.
I was in third grade, and I recognized that it was a huge shift in reporting, because suddenly it was the 9/11 terrorist attacks all day, every day.
Well, the thing with that too is that it was 9/11 on every, not just the regular news channels, but every channel was all 9/11 all the time for the next week and a half.
But that's what everyone wanted to watch too at the same time. I mean,
of course,
everyone watches glued to it. And then once you get that,
if we had had that same level of technology when Pearl Harbor happened, it would have been the same.
Right.
Yeah.
But now, but it seems like we want it with everything now.
But
Graham, I hear what you're saying, and I completely agree with you. Because I've always railed against the 24-hour news segment hard, because that once they started giving ratings, especially to those kinds of shows, that's what really screwed up a lot of things too. Because for a long time, Bill O'Reilly was considered the top news show, and it's like, this guy's an editorialist.
But they all are, though. They're not like
a news show. This is what you find on the second page.
But what do you think is a news show?
News,
like an actual news.
Giving facts.
Right, no,
when you give facts and you don't discuss your personal opinion on it.
Right.
Local news.
It's the generation before was the last generation where the news anchors had been actual reporters previously. Peter Jennings, Brokaw, Rather, like they were actual reporters that did things in the field, reported on stuff, and became anchors later. It's the generation after them who are people that are presenters, that are the anchors, they're presenters. They weren't man on the street reporters. They weren't investigative reporters. They weren't doing any of that. They're communications majors that were good on television, and they became anchors.
And Mark Grimes makes a point by saying journalists have always added slant.
Yeah,
but there's a difference. There's a difference between adding slant and completely editorializing the news.
Right. There's a total difference between journalists adding slant and slant having some facts.
Yes.
Between the two.
It's just a fact-based slant is what's going on now. It's no longer facts with a slight slant.
See, that ties in with the social media thing too. That's what bothers me the most about not just the fact that everybody feels like their life, they need to have their life on display like 24/7 now, and they need everybody to know what they're doing, and they want all the attention all the time. But also now people can share all of this like non-verified bullshit. And
Yes,
people take it as
right.
fact.
And that's a problem of the news cycle, I
You
feel.
think?
Yeah.
I don't think that's a social media problem, because if it was a social media, like if we still had fact-based news and we didn't have opinion-based news, then people would be discussing the facts, not
Right,
the
exactly.
opinions that they
Well, I
hear
think
regurgitated on the news segments. So
That's
they
fair.
would be discussing facts and bringing actual dialogue to these facts instead of just discussing the opinions.
And I think, well, I think it's still out there, but that's also why I read papers and don't watch any of the 24/7
Leads to
shows.
shows of people on shows talking about they
like,
think they know the
a lot
facts.
of a lot of the shows are just
Podcasts, a bunch of people giving their fucking opinions.
I remember.
like, and there's a place for that. I'm not even trying to say like there's not a place for that. Like
I don't agree.
there is a good place for editorial content.
Yeah.
And it is kind of it is very important.
Yeah.
So white guys trying to save the world.
Yeah. But no, like they're like
Do you watch the Sunday morning shows?
no. But like
Those
there's
are-
an important place for editorial content, I
Yeah.
believe. But it's just one of those things where it's like there has to be a better disconnect of like, hey, this is our editorial guy. He's going to state his opinion and just leave it at that instead of saying, oh, that's news.
Yeah, and they would pass to an opinion guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of and up next is the news show Bill O'Reilly. You know? And it's like that's not news. You're not discussing news. You're discussing shit that happened in your light. Like how
Right.
it affects you, how you perceive it. That's not news.
Yeah.
News
That's
news
before
So
would've-
maybe it is
that
social
would have
media.
been thought of as what would they have called that before? Human interest. That would have been like the human interest
Yeah.
side of things
But-
when they did that. Versus
then
now
again-
where it's just
Maybe it's both.
then again
Probably
this
both.
also draws a negative light back onto social media because
Yeah.
people are so brain dead now. They're so distracted they can't keep their mind on one thing, so they have to continue this 24-hour news cycle where they keep spinning the same news articles in a different way. So maybe it is a symptom of social media.
I think it's both.
I
man,
think it's hard.
honestly.
I think it's I just think it's impossible to pinpoint the problem
One of them's the symptom or the cause,
because
and the other was a symptom.
yeah, one
I will
but they're
say-
both symptoms of each being a cause.
Right, each other, yeah. Because it
will
would go
say
nowhere if there wasn't social media.
ever since I removed myself from, ever since I stopped actively using Facebook, right? Like I still have an account and I still use Facebook Messenger to talk with people, and I use Facebook Messenger for work stuff because everybody's on it. But I removed the actual app off of my phone, and I go onto the site maybe once a day or once every other day, mainly just to clear notifications. I've really noticed an improvement in my daily happiness, and then also in what you were saying about, I don't know how many times I'd catch myself like just sit on the couch and like I'm kind of a little bit bored because I'm not actively doing anything, and I'd grab the phone, and next thing you know, it's 30 minutes later, and I've just been scrolling through Facebook. Like mine,
I did that for all 2017.
So I mean, that's one of the best things that I've done. In the
But
last
listen
couple
what you
years
just said
that I
though.
can think of.
Listen what you just said.
And one other benefit from me being I used to really be into like the high end like vape scene, right? Which is kind of stupid when you think about it. But ever since I got off of Facebook, I haven't spent any money on like stupid vape shit because the whole industry exists on there. Like I haven't felt the need to like get on a list for like a new Addy or a new mod or something like that.
Look what you just said though. You barely use Facebook, right? But you're on it 2 times a day, and you use it for messages and only to clear. You use it like 17 times a day, and you're barely on it. How crazy is that?
Well, I mean,
you know what I'm saying? Like you feel like you're not on it. I understand that. I know what you're saying.
I mean, the majority
really aren't.
Like the majority of like my work conversations that previously would have been done via email or text message, sometimes phone call, but like the majority of that stuff just moved to Facebook Messenger.
Oh yeah.
And that's
But what I was just saying, as a
that is
company,
just
think about that.
The vape industry as a whole is a very immature industry, and like there's so many companies out there, like they don't even have a lawyer like for the company or whatever. So like Facebook Messenger is the way they conduct their business.
I suspect a lot of companies are probably like that though now. You know?
No.
I bet they are like a lot more than
I mean, I could see, you know,
In the
like
vape
small,
industry,
like small, like boutique businesses
Yeah.
within industries, but anything like an established industry, because I've said it before and I'll continue to say it. The bar to entering the vape industry was extremely low for a very long time. So there's a lot of people that don't actually have a lot of business acumen that were able to become successful or semi-successful.
Yeah.
And they're having hard times now. But because of that, like I said, I've been working with, you know, we were trying to get working with somebody that wanted us to co-pack or whatever. So we're like, you know, we're like drafting stuff and getting like legal documents together, kick it over. And they're like, hey, have your lawyers look over this and then get back to us. And they're like, we don't have a lawyer.
Was that Cutwood? I think that was Cutwood. This just in.
Obviously.
Vape Dojo was going to co-pack Cutwood.
Got it.
Clearly.
Boom.
Only if I can get the original recipe of unicorn milk.
Boom. That's the news right there.
Done.
I'll co-pack anybody if they got the money.
I mean, I got the money. Let me send you a Facebook message instead of an email.
Oh, clearly the majority of dope deals are done over Facebook at this point. Clearly.
No, wouldn't that be like WhatsApp or whatever the kids are using now?
Yeah.
Yeah, like
times.
The shit that theoretically self-destructs.
Yeah, dealing four-finger lids.
And you know what? I'm just a little bit, because I think I'm like technically like Oregon Trail generation or whatever, but like I'm just old enough that like I didn't like I've never used Snapchat, and like Instagram doesn't really do a lot for me. You know what I mean? Like I'm just like I'm like on the cusp. Like I grew up at analog, and then my adulthood was digital type of deal.
Right.
So,
Yeah,
like,
the same way.
I don't like. It's been a process for me to not make like written, you know, like paper to-do lists to grab my phone to do that with instead. You know, like going to the grocery store. You know, up until like a couple years ago, I was always like handwriting a list, and I'm like, I have a fucking computer in my pocket that I can use. It seems
the lists seem strange on the phone though. They seem strange on the phone.
I do it now, but it seems like
I still do the paper.
It seems like the next generation behind me, like the people like 5 years younger than me.
They don't even know what pencils are.
But they look for a digital solution first for things, which I kind of wish I was like that, because looking at the way stuff's integrated, like looking at the way people can like integrate workflows and stuff, I'm like, that makes so much sense, but I just never think to do it. That's never my first thought to do it that way.
Right.
I'm just a little bit too old for it.
My daughter was born in 06. The iPhone came out in 07. Like she literally has no concept of any of that, like at all.
She doesn't know. She doesn't know what physical buttons on a phone are.
None. She tries to swipe magazines.
I mean, my kid's growing up with, you know, with Netflix, you know what I mean? So he's never going to have to go through, like when I was growing up and we didn't have cable and you're trying to, you know, there's like 12 channels and there's nothing to watch. Like for him, you know, he's got thousands of shows.
Matt, are you mid-30s or mid-40s?
I'm late 30s.
Late 30s? So yeah, Mark Grimes, that would put you about half a generation above Pretty Matthew.
Yeah. And I have... Like I said, I have begun, or I shouldn't say, it's not like it's something I just started over the last couple of years. Like I've learned to like integrate this stuff in. It's just whenever I try to do one of these new things, it's not my initial reaction to grab the phone or, you know, have an app to do whatever. I have to like teach myself, because I know people that are older than me that are like fantastic. Like I barely use Twitter. It just doesn't, I don't really see a purpose for me to use it. But I know older people that are fantastic with Twitter and use it to drive business and do like all kinds of stuff with it. So anybody can learn how to do this. It's just, I feel like for people that are a little bit younger than me, it's something that, you know, it's the stuff that you grow up with and the stuff that you're able to adapt with it easier.
My dad's on Facebook 24 hours a day.
I'm not kidding.
I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah,
which is
it's insane
like
how much
he's sending me friend requests. And
I know.
My dad used to be like a justifiable Republican, and then he got Facebook.
Yep.
He turned into a crazy person.
Yep. Absolutely. What's up, Zippy Zone? Thanks for joining the chat. Never seen you in the chat before.
But no, I'm pretty sure the biggest Facebook user in my entire family is my grandma still, by far, hands down.
Dude, I've had to ghost Facebook. Like,
I like post is from 2 years ago.
Like, I like everybody, don't get me wrong, like people are fantastic. This isn't like directed at anybody in particular, but just like the constant flow of like interaction from people just wears me the fuck out.
And a lot of people talk about, there's been studies showing like a measurable level of unhappiness or discontent from like excessive Facebook use. And I think a big part of that is because you're so like when you're scrolling through your Facebook feed, people forget that all the people that are posting on there are only posting the stuff they want you to see, right? So you're comparing
their lives rule though.
You're comparing your daily life, the good stuff and the bad stuff, the boring stuff to
their best
highlights.
You want to get rid of your Facebook depression? Add Steam Room. Add Steam Room.
Oh yeah.
Because he doesn't just post the shit you want to see. He posts
off
everything.
Yeah. Sometimes I wonder his amount of oversharing, but
sometimes I wonder about his mental health state.
But I think,
in all honesty, like I'm worried about him, and that's coming from Skittles.
Yeah.
Like
he always has some shit going on though, and he always lets everybody knows it.
Everybody's got that Facebook friend. Like there's always something going on. You need thoughts and prayers right now, everybody.
Yeah, like, that dude that shares shit, and you're like, ooh, you should probably keep that to yourself, dude.
Remember who was saying this?
So but I mean, comparing your insides to somebody else's outsides is never going to work out well for you. You know what I mean? So
that's true.
Yeah.
I mean, like, who wants to see? I mean, like that would be, you know, a 24-hour Facebook feed of me would be like 3/4 of it is me sitting behind a computer at work, and the other quarter of it is me sitting in my underwear on my couch watching TV. So
I
people
mean, it's not
think
that
it's like
exciting.
you're just having fun all the time.
Exactly, like the glorious life of the YouTube guy.
I can't remember the last time I posted on Facebook. Like I just don't post. I go on because I'm an admin of the DIY or Die thing, and because I'm very committed to DIY or Die. I'm like, I think I'm the only. I think I'm the most senior member of like the DIY or Die crew.
Probably.
Because Crunk left.
No, you are because I came on right after
Dr. What's his name?
Dude. No idea.
Or Mr. Something. He started a
you came on right after
he started a juice line and then left DIY or Die.
I know what you're talking about though. Yeah.
I can't remember his name.
I wish Bot Boy's juice line had done better.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
And then Crunk left, Wiener left, Mr. Doctor something left, and I'm the only one left. So I'm like the most senior member of DIY or Die. So I'm super committed to DIY or Die. So I check just the DIY or Die shit when I go onto Facebook, and that's the only reason I have Facebook left.
But like, there's only so many posts about King or sub tanks I can take.
Yeah.
And I hate to admit it, but it's human
not
nature. Like when I do, like
when I log in, it's
I have like a couple groups I always go check because there's always drama popping off in them. So like, and I don't want to be the person that's like, ooh, but at the same time,
none of us do, but we all are.
Yeah, but human nature. Like, there's a group called Vape Court.
Yes.
I don't think I should have brought that up.
Yes.
It may be a public group, it may be a private group, whatever.
It's
but
public
requirements to get into it. But like, I love reading. Anytime I get, usually whenever I get onto Facebook, like I will check in Vape Court just to see like what.
Because it's incredibly stupid.
It really is.
Oh, I love it. I love every minute of it.
Vape Court, 521 members.
No, that's not right.
It can't be it. This thing's like absurd.
Yeah, it's probably a hidden one, but it's also really good because they have like,
Vape Court, 20,000 members.
Yeah, that's the one.
Probably
yeah. There are restrictions to getting in anybody that is watching our streams.
There's people there that will go to the Vape Court before they'll go to the police.
Yeah,
like for real. And like major crimes will happen and they'll go to Vape Court.
And and I don't like taking. It's not that I want to take pleasure in other people's misfortune and stuff, but like when I read through like what the case is or whatever, and it's like a dude insisted that I pay friends and family, and then as soon as I pay, he does his account and disappears, and I'm like,
duh.
Then why did you pay friends and family? That's like the number one.
You don't know him.
With people is always pay goods and services.
And they're a member of that website.
And have
right?
it
And they still don't.
And have it linked to your credit card, because then you can do, you can dispute it with your credit card company if PayPal doesn't do anything. I don't.
So
it's
great.
but it's unfortunate though, because I feel like Facebook does do a lot of good, and there's a lot of people that it is a good thing, whatever. But I just feel like the vast majority, it just ends up being a slog, man.
There's so many different things going on Facebook though. There's so many different things going on.
I feel tired if I, now, like if I go on it for to actually scroll through the feed or anything, by the time I get done, I'm just tired. I'm like, I don't want to, why did I do this to myself again?
I'm joining Vape Court. I want to see what the fuck
you're going to love it.
Yeah, it is entertaining.
Let's go.
Yeah. And I mean,
go ahead.
I was gonna say on the other side of that, like as somebody that does a significant amount of YouTubing, like if you don't go on Facebook with your YouTube, if you're not sharing your links, if you're not going out and interacting with people, you're just gonna wind up stuck.
Yeah, you don't exist.
Yeah, you don't exist at all, and you have to. And as much as Facebook hurts my feelings most of the time.
Yeah.
I really anybody who follows my channel knows my dislike for Facebook.
Speaking of hurting your feelings, let's take a look at this picture.
Oh my God.
Let's take a look at this picture that you and Concrete took.
This is a total asshole, by the way.
Jesus Christ.
That's the fucking.
That was the only segue I had. I got the picture. I got the picture late.
I appreciate it.
To put this in perspective, I'm an even 6 foot tall. That tells you how guy Concrete is.
Concrete's a goddamn giant. I thought Fresh was going to show him where all the Fraggles were hidden.
That's a 12-foot tall bottle behind them.
I think he's going to drink that bottle.
Also,
Dude,
what is that green arm? What is that green arm right
It's
here?
some
What the
Japanese
fuck?
porn. It's a Japanese.
Was that part of that bottle, or was that just someone holding?
No,
it?
that was part of the bottle. I believe Concrete's significant other pushed us there on purpose.
Yeah.
Did she drop cockroaches in the middle?
She wanted a pre-grope picture with the giant green arm.
Yeah, you should see what they did afterwards. You should see after the picture. I got the extra pictures.
Oh yeah, no, I've got that thing's almost coming out of my mouth.
Dude,
it's
Fresh.
ridiculous.
I was trying so hard to convince Concrete to baby Bjorn you.
Oh god.
Oh.
Talk about what I want to know the truth here. Now we got you on. What the fuck happened on with the Zesty? Tell me what's going on in that picture, please. The picture with you and Zesty.
Zesty claims that he's 6'2".
He's got to be 10'4".
Zesty was 6'2" when he was in like 5th grade, and that's the last time anybody ever bothered to measure him.
The doctor was pissed off when he came in and said, "Yeah, you're 6'2", dickhead."
Yeah. No, Zesty's much taller than 6'2". I'm 5'4", if that gives you perspective.
See, I'm like 5'8", and I want Concrete. If we go to a con together, I want Concrete to baby Bjorn me and carry me around.
Oh, he's gonna hold you. Bad.
Can he get like dual swaddles? And like me and Skittles just roll around the con that way?
Have me on the back just screaming racial slurs at people.
Yeah. Like Mad Max.
I think on my last YouTube video, I think it was Transonic left a message saying that Fresh and I were basically Master Blaster.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, we could have been.
But Fresh, you're absolutely right. For any kind of like business stuff, Facebook is still a necessity for that.
You have to.
Yeah. I'm just lucky.
And it's not like I'm a business. I make
You're
like
a thing though.
Right.
I make like $30 a month off YouTube. It's not like
still any kind of promotion and stuff, because
you have to.
What is it, like a seventh of the world, or
where
to the world is on Facebook at this point? There's like a billion.
Where else are companies going to advertise? Companies have nowhere to advertise anymore. TiVo killed that.
Which that concerns me too, because there's really not a lot of restrictions on advertising and the way
it's the Wild West.
They do that. You know what I mean? That's another thing that's really going to have an impact on the vape industry too, is like when the advertising, because like the advertising restrictions go into place August 10th.
How are they going to do that on the internet though?
That's the thing. I mean,
They're
they're going to be. I mean, you're supposed to meet those if they find it, and you're going to get in trouble for it. But
even if it's on the internet.
Yeah, the requirements are supposed to take place everywhere. So that's about to come into effect. So.
Wow.
Yeah, the label.
That's a whole different world.
Yeah, the new label requirements, bottle requirements,
Real
and
quick.
The advertising.
Real quick.
So
tell me how we're an hour into the show, and we have less views than the fucking D&D show.
Because we're spiraling.
I don't understand.
Did you share that? Did you share it on Facebook?
No, I never. I never share the YouTube. Graham, you know I don't share the YouTube link. That's your job.
I'll be right back. I gotta grab.
I didn't know that.
That is your fucking. Hold on, dude. Oh my God! You said I'm gonna advertise the shit out of the show.
That one show.
No, all of the shows. Advertise the shit out of all of the shows.
Has broken in the last 3 weeks. Do you understand that I'm having catastrophic failure of everything? The fact that I'm even on right now. No,
but we don't really advertise on YouTube.
Yeah, we will though. Starting next week. Look out for it.
We fucking better.
We will.
Graham.
But what do you do, Graham?
We mostly focus. We mostly focus on word of mouth and grabbing viewers from in the mix.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, that's why we're spiraling.
We don't have a good plan, is what we're saying.
We really don't.
Not at all.
No.
Our
best show was like May 11th.
Yeah.
Or May 30th.
Is that the one episode that Graham shared on Facebook?
No, I can't remember what episode that was. I think.
You, Fresh.
Have we hit our subscriber mark for the giveaway?
No, we stopped dead right there.
Dude, I don't think we're even close. We're at 251. We've gone down 2 subscribers in the past week.
You know what? Like I don't want to ruin the entire bit, but it feels like we should just pull the trigger on that.
In the past month, we've got -2 subscribers.
What the fuck happened? What happened?
I don't know. Okay. So
you guys start talking about politics.
So June 21st,
no, they just
we were up 0. 22nd, we were up 1. 23rd, 24th, we were up 1. 25th,
we peaked with the hooker.
June 25th, they said, nah, fuck this. June 26th, someone subscribed. June 27th, someone unsubscribed. June 28th, someone subscribed. June 29th, 3 people unsubscribed.
Really?
July 1st, 2 people subscribed.
How fast do you think we can get it down? What if we give it away the other way?
I can get our subs down.
Yeah, what if 10 people unsubscribe, then we give it away?
Colton has some real interesting ideas on race mixing.
Yes, he does.
Pretty Matthew, if you could leave the room for a minute.
Please don't.
No,
please don't
but July 3rd, we were sitting even. July 4th, we lost 2. July 5th, we gained 2. July 9th, we stayed even. July 10th, we gained 1. 11th, we lost 1.
But people listen
13th,
to it.
13th, we lost another 1. 14th, we gained 1 to sit even. 15th, we lost 1. 16th, we gained 2. 17th, we're sitting at even.
Well, okay, we got to figure out what the fuck happened.
It's because of gripping narration like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, it's because you remember when we read the analytics out loud before and it was good.
Yeah, people were like, "No, fuck these guys."
Yeah, fuck this. Yeah, but they listen for 36,000 hours a week.
We gained 7 subs in the last 28 days. We've lost.
But how many
9.
listening hours? Which is the only thing that's important, by the way.
Hold on, let me check.
Listen to your analytics guy.
Whoa.
Dude,
time spent listening
Graham,
is by far the most
it
important
is
thing
not
to
looking
advertisers.
good. We are down. We are down in watch time. We are down in average view duration. We're down in views.
Oh.
We're down in comments, down in shares, down in videos and playlists, and down in subs.
But interactions is where the key is.
Sure.
Yeah, we need to get those comments up. So hit those comments. Fucking
guys
if you
gotta
guys,
start talking in the-
hey,
Somebody has to actually start reading the comments.
hold up. If you guys fucking hate this show, comment. Let us know. Hit that like button. Hit that like button.
This is what YouTube cares about.
Yeah.
They really don't care about a whole lot else.
Let's go.
Hit those
Let's
smash
fucking do
buttons.
this.
Question, though.
Dude, we have an average view
What's up?
duration of 32 minutes, though. Which
See what I'm saying?
is
That's
still,
very good.
it's
Yeah.
still good.
All 14
but
people listen for that long.
that's down 15% from last month.
Yeah, it was like 38.
What's the serious question, Matthew?
So, I mean, it's universally recognized that internet comments are the worst, and you should never read the comments. But does anybody know why YouTube has the absolute worst comments? Like the level of
I don't know.
Because
Maybe because it's
Because there's a-
international.
Because it's left to the, it's basically you're like, you can hire or you can bring moderators in other places to watch what people are doing. YouTube, it's basically left to the person that's running the channel.
That's
Like
the point.
if Wayne, let's say Wayne hires Concrete to be his new YouTube moderator, and he goes and it's Concrete's job to go through and get rid of all the shit comments.
Oh god.
That's one guy. That's one guy, and that's why YouTube, like so many of the big channels, they just do not give a shit because it's too much effort.
I've always like, I mean, if you want to be if you want to stay in a good mood, never read the comments. But like YouTube is just like another level of
Let's
that.
read our
Do you
comments.
guys read the chat?
Yo, let's read our comments.
Do you guys read the chat during the show?
Can I say something positive?
Oh my God, we lost a subscriber while I was describing the subscribers.
Because they want the giveaway, but they don't realize it will be in the giveaway.
I'm just gonna say something positive. So I've been really, really impressed. Like I've been waiting for bad YouTube comments, and I totally haven't gotten any.
Oh, well, because you're just a lovable motherfucker. Right?
I
kill myself.
I get the random one like once a week, like, you should just kill yourself. You haven't been relevant in DIY in years.
Oh, dude, I fucking
I'm like, oh man, I haven't been relevant in years. Why do you do it on my channel then, dickhead?
I pray for those. I would love those comments.
Yeah, goddamn, you should. I got killed 38 fucking times in this F Mary Kill thing.
Well,
not even 38 people.
I just like my entire thing is I want like. The thing is, like, I'm just waiting for the comments to say that I look fucking weird because I stare at my own face while I edit it. And, like, I realize how weird I look, and I want somebody to fucking acknowledge that.
But you don't look at the camera while you're vaping when you do that. You don't do that creaky fucking thing everyone else does, and that's why I appreciate you.
I need people to validate my low self-esteem by starting to insult my personal appearance. Let's get this happening.
Okay.
That's the whole thing.
Okay, real quick, I noticed there was some disdain for the DMD episode. We're gonna advertise that beforehand, so that if you guys want to tune into a regular show, you won't have to watch our D&D show. It's not gonna be a regular thing. It'll probably be like once every
10 years,
once every 4 months, or once every like 6 months.
Oh god.
Where we just want to play together. It's not.
Maybe we should do another channel for that.
The start. No. The thing is, the start of this whole show was just because we wanted to chill and bullshit.
Right.
Yeah.
And not have to do a vape show.
Yeah.
Right.
If we want to chill and bullshit and do D&D, we don't really care if there's viewers. So we'll let you know. We'll let you know because we care if you enjoy the show. If you're going to view it, we at least want you to enjoy it. But we don't care if you even you didn't even join, dude. I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. It was a fucking
I wanted to so bad.
It was a fucking blast. In all honesty.
I watched it. I could watch it. I just couldn't get on. I'm having real problems.
My character's the fucking king now.
Of course it is.
Yeah. So I mean,
a 14-year-old king.
Everybody who played had a fucking blast, and that's
What's your character's name again?
Okamaku look.
So was Eileen.
Okamaku Okalaki. No.
You read the reviews for
No, you can't go and look it up. You can't go and look it up. You can't go look it up.
Oh no, I gotta look it up because I'm admitting defeat right now. I can't remember that fucking name.
Hey, Concrete.
Okawaiwai Okamoku Iloku Okakahi Mea Nauupo.
That's done very well.
Okay. You had to look it up, so you only get half credit for that one.
Yeah.
Hey, Concrete, I just finished. If you ever read Invincible, the comic Invincible by Kirkman?
Yes.
Yeah. So it just finished in February, and the last trade just came out. I never read it. I got all the trades. I just read 25 volumes in like the last 3 days. It's amazing. You got to check that one out.
Okay, yeah, because I think I probably read a couple volumes of it and then like totally drifted out, but I'll check out the rest of it.
Yeah. Go to that site I gave you.
Oh, yeah, will do, man. That site's awesome.
But
yeah, I know. I've been going crazy on it.
But to finish my thought, this show, well, we don't really care if we get a ton of viewers. We care if the viewers enjoy it. No, we just care if the viewers enjoy it. I mean,
we do this because we have fun, but we want other people to have fun with us.
Yes, we don't want you to tune in and not enjoy it. If you aren't gonna enjoy it, don't tune in. It's as simple. It's as simple as that. This is us hanging out, and the people who enjoy coming and hanging out with us, interacting in the chat. We like to hang out with them. If you aren't gonna enjoy it, don't watch it. It's easy as that. But
some of them no.
So the D&D thing was just us. We wanted to play D&D, so we played D&D. If you don't enjoy it, we'll let you know the next time we're gonna play. That way you don't have to tune in. Yeah. Simple. It's as simple as that.
That way your arms won't get paralyzed once you're timed in. You can't turn it off.
Yeah, but yeah, that was. I had a lot.
I liked listening to it. Playing.
Oh, I was gonna say I do know who unsubscribed, by the way. So.
Was it you?
Shout out to Fulvora. You're a dick.
Did he really? Did Bryson unsubscribe?
Shit.
Bryson unsubscribed.
Damn, that hurts. That hurts, Bryson. I'm emailing him as this show is going on.
Yeah,
too.
Me too. I'm going to too.
But I'm gonna go check the Flavor Instagram feed, and I'm sure it's just a video of it show playing and just Bryson's finger going to the tablet to unsubscribe and then slowly pulling back.
After sending an email like that out, he unsubscribed us. This guy.
No, but
the fucking everybody's responses.
But we
you don't unsubscribe to me. I unsubscribe to you.
Yeah.
Did you guys get all
Unplugged,
the Nicotine River emails that have been going around?
No, because I've never bought from Nicotine River.
Yeah.
I've always been sketched out by that company, in all honesty. Yeah. So I never bought from them.
There's no reason.
They've moved and they're different nicotine suppliers.
Yeah, they're
stuff that they're going to sell.
They're in North Carolina now, right?
Yeah, which makes perfect sense.
Hold on one second.
Nick River wasn't Nick River in like California or something?
Yeah, they were in California, but they're owned by Pure Nick, which is a part of the ABC Investment Corporation.
Yep.
Which is a tobacco company.
But Plurium, however you pronounce it, that is in North Carolina.
Yeah, they're essentially owned by a tobacco company. So they moved to.
I think you would be amazed by the number of things in the vape industry that are owned by tobacco companies at this point.
But
get Stefan Didak in a room by himself and let him go.
Yeah, most of them.
You'll be.
He's not anti big. I'm not anti big tobacco either. Honestly, that may end up being the only thing that saves.
Yeah, I could say
in any way. Would be
what do they
bring to the table?
At what cost?
That's the thing. It's very possible that we could see. I don't think it's going to end up with like the doomsday scenario that we were worried about. On August 8th, 2016, when it all first started being enacted. But I could definitely see a huge reduction in the amount of open system devices and products.
What's already started? Think about it. Think about before August 8th, there was very little.
There's
open system things.
There's more. I mean, there's, and part of it too is just the way this stuff was enacted. I mean, there's so much new product that's come to the market.
Crazy, right?
That I'm not going to comment because I don't know the internals of different companies or whatever, but I don't know that it's all up and up. Do
you think people geared up and they just have surplus? Just they geared up and just dumping it? You don't think?
To an extent, but there's been a bunch of, there's a ton of like new companies that just pop up. There's still like all the hype companies that just pop up, release their thing, and then disappear after they make their money. But then look at like the big hardware manufacturers. There's a new device coming to market every
I bet Smock got. I think Smock or whatever. I think they were planning on, they just geared up and we're gonna release a lot of shit and then didn't have to, and now they're just letting something go every month.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing with that is you were supposed to have already registered your products prior to you didn't release them.
I mean, is it really hard to market?
That it needs to have been sold, so that means that it would have needed to have been actually built to be sold 2 years ago.
Yeah, well, but they could have built a shitty prototype and just sold it to one person. So. And considering smock, they could have just added 4 coils to their tank.
Or an LED light.
Or an LED light, or increased it by 10 watts.
That's a new product.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, I mean, let's go conservative and say 90% of the stuff, 90% of the vape gear comes from China. They don't have to comply.
That's true.
All they have to do is just keep pushing it through the door until the U.S. tells them to stop. That's when they'll change their tune.
And from what I've heard, they have begun doing port inspections.
Well, that's part of the new tariff system too.
Well, yeah, but specifically looking for they have FDA inspectors that are specifically looking for electronic cigarette components and parts coming into the country from overseas to see if like all the paperwork was in order on them.
Yeah.
Good move or bad move calling it electronic cigarettes? What do you think?
Bad.
Bad. Terrible. Good to get good at the beginning. Now it's going to be horrible.
No, I don't. I think it was a bad idea from the start.
They should have been called vaporizers. Just vaporizers from the start.
Do cigarette smokers pay attention?
I'm okay with it.
Or do they think it's a pot
Yes, but they would have paid attention when they saw other smokers quitting.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So it's going to end up being the worst thing that.
Yeah.
Anytime you have the word cigarette in something, it's going to be a negative connotation to people that don't know anything about it.
Naming it electronic cigarettes was the worst move this industry could make.
I'm actually okay with the ends designation of the FDA's.
Yeah, I'm totally okay with ends.
Yeah,
I want it to be penis.
Juice is like my. Juice may be a bigger pet peeve for me.
Juice
has
got to go.
Awful.
Yeah.
It's gotta go. It's gotta be
it needs to be
else.
personal electronic nicotine inhalation systems that deliver e-liquid.
I like it.
Yeah, but juice is another one that's just it's another terrible connotation to put on things.
I don't know, man. Yeah. I like my stuff steeped.
Yeah, someone commented on my show. I think it was yesterday. They were talking about alternative names, and one dude's like steam sauce. I was like, all right, steam sauce it is.
No, dude, the best lung lube.
Steam sauce.
Lung lube.
No, penis.
That was always
perfect.
The best.
And it's silly that we have to have these kind of conversations, but it just shows like the power of words and marketing. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Just the connotations that get put onto something like that.
You put e-cigarette on it, and all of a sudden you're like when I quit smoking, I told myself I'm not starting to vape or quitting to smoke. This is just something else I do. And then I eventually stopped reaching for the cigarette because it started tasting like shit.
Mm-hmm.
But it's always attached to that cigarette, like that's definitely what we shouldn't have called it, electronic cigarette, because it's forever attached to that.
I'm slightly more hopeful this week because like the American Cancer Society they haven't been I suppose we could call it mildly supportive. They basically before said try everything else, and if that doesn't work, then try an e-cigarette.
Right.
This week they clarified again. And they came out and they said, it's not as bad as the media has been telling you it is.
Mm-hmm.
This is a viable solution for people to quit, and it's neat to see a government-funded agency to actually come out and say something like that. So I mean, it gives you a little room for hope. It's not like that showed up in the vaping news. Everybody's talking about that Chinese fucking pilot, but
what happened?
A Chinese co-pilot was vaping, and apparently the plane dropped like 25,000 feet or something like that.
Clearly from the e-cigarette, and he was putting juice in at the time.
I'm not sure exactly. I'm not sure exactly how it all went down. I avoided that article like the plague. I was like, no. I'm trying to put a positive spin on.
His name was Wong Wei, I heard.
And the other big one that's going around is the 500-person study that. I think that said that they couldn't that e-cigarette or vaping won't help you quit smoking. It's like that's 500 people. What were they vaping, and where the fuck did you find these people?
Well, not if it's salts. If it's salts, you're not going to quit smoking.
So many of these studies, we never see the actual methodology, or when we do see it, it's not a real world.
It's so flawed. And this is not alone in vaping. I mean, we saw this happen.
Everything.
like the supplement market a couple years back when it got crushed.
Yeah.
How many
by the FDA?
I mean, there's been these kinds of issues with prescription medication studies, so that way they can get the results that they want, so that way they can get it out onto the market.
What are the guidelines?
There's a really big correlation there too.
That's the thing. We don't know what the guidelines on these studies are.
There's not a minimum amount of people that have to do it for a minimum amount of time, or there's none of that.
Not for third party, no.
We don't know. Yeah, exactly.
Wow. Look at who. The other thing too.
That's crazy.
You need to be able to figure out who actually paid for the study.
Right. That makes a huge difference.
Bloomberg. No. It might be. It might be
Adelson.
No, I think that's
crazy.
A good strong correlation is the supplement market, because the supplement market's had a lot of just as much shady bullshit, and they got slammed hard because
they got crushed.
Connected to drugs.
And it took them 10 years of fighting. 10 years.
God, I don't have it
before things finally settled to where they're at. And I think it's a reasonable place in the supplement market now. Things are, relatively well tested at this point. Every once in a while, we would see some shit hit the market that really should have never gotten through.
You still got a couple of flash pan, but it's not as bad as it was, because like for a while there was just, that was the thing. If you wanted to make a supplement company, okay, you have 6 months until it has to be tested by. Cool, you're a company. 6 months.
Right.
Hey, real quick,
so many different variables though.
Money as you can off of whatever herbs go together until the 6 months are up, and then you're just gone and making your company.
That's the same thing that a lot of these, hype liquid companies do.
That's what I'm saying. That's a really good correlation.
Yeah, they make a crazy flavor with 6% sucralose or whatever, and then they make some kind of flashy label and they throw it on the market and they sell as much as they can for as long as they can, and then they bail out because they don't care. They don't care about vaping as an industry or as a. They don't care about the.
It's a money making opportunity.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a smash and grab.
Right. I'm in this because I like making money. Right. I want to make money too, but at the same time, I also
you shouldn't feel bad about that.
Vaping is as a whole too.
Yeah, because so you're one of the good guys.
This is the only way I was able to quit smoking combustible tobacco products was through electronic cigarettes. So I wanted to stick around.
Give it back. I think there'll be a lot more of that. I think.
I think the direction that it's heading, honestly, is consolidation. I think you're going to see a ton of consolidation, just people selling their recipes and just moving on. And I think for good or worse, I think that as smaller companies get bought up and they're produced by a bigger house, the prices on these ultra premium liquids, they'll drop. There's like I said, there's the good and the bad. You're going to lose the mom and pop innovation shit like that.
Maybe because people that want to make fast money, they don't want there to be any problems. It's got to be quick and easy,
We're going to lose a lot of these there's a lot of these smaller companies out there that are the equivalent of like a good men's haberdashery, where you go and get a bespoke suit, like you get a suit measured and made for you, right?
Those are the ones that should be teaming up.
And we're going to lose the e-liquid equivalents of those, where it's a small operation that makes some really high quality products, but they only make a couple and they don't do huge numbers of volume. You know what I mean? Yeah. Those are the ones that are going to disappear first, because they're not going to be able to continue to, be able to stay in the market.
Yeah, you're going to lose the craft breweries, not Budweiser.
Exactly.
That's another good correlation.
That's bad though.
So I mean, that's the direction. It's going to get corporatized at some point, and then the corporate level of regulation will be there, and we'll be where we're at the end. I don't think it's going to be as bad as the doomsday scenario that gets thrown around. I don't think it's going to be as bad as all that. I don't think it's going to be as fun as it's been. I mean, we've been the Wild West for how long now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that shit's fun. Yeah.
Like before the FDA dropped their regs, I mean, everybody was having a fucking blast.
Yeah, is somebody
can't be that way forever?
Is somebody like Narmods, right? The guy that makes the Narda, made the Narda RDA, made the Narta, he made a ton of amazing hardware. But is somebody like him going to be able to stay active?
Oh, absolutely not.
Under you know what I mean? Under that level of consolidation.
I knew this lady that owned a B&M, and the numbers she told me it was going to cost her to stay in business was unfucking believable. Like, I couldn't even believe it. Like, she's like a small little shop, you know what I mean? Like, sold DIY stuff. It was cool, little, in Vegas. And when she told me how much it was gonna be, I was like, what do you mean? I mean, it's ridiculous, just ridiculous, because like at one of those shops, they have so many different SKUs, just from different things they have to put on there, and it's not even that much stuff. But good God, it's crazy.
My hope. I mean, my hope, as far as I've said this before. Also, my hope is that the FDA will be willing to look more at like the TPD, like at the TPD requirements, because those are reasonable and those are achievable. Like we've been able to do that with our products that we sell overseas. We've been able to do full TPD test, TPD2 testing and listing, and then MHRA for the UK. We've been able to actually afford and get those things done and have our products available for market. But
what are some of the differences, though? Like, what are some of the major differences that you could say, like that
Well, I mean, we don't know.
Here.
Yeah, we don't know what the U.S. is going to. We have no idea.
We don't know. We don't know what is actually going to be able to pass a PMTA. In the UK or the EU, they'd already laid out all of the regulations that you were going to do.
What are they?
I mean, there's particular lab testing, there's analysis of your ingredients, and then there's like the actual vapor study, like the exhaled product study, and then you have to do like listings for any potentially harmful chemicals in it. So it's a there's some lab testing that gets done, and then there's a whole bunch of like listing and registration stuff that gets done. But it's all
the hardware is different.
I have no idea what you have to do for hardware over there. All I know is like
2 milliliters or something.
Yeah, 2 mil tanks. 2 mil tanks. There's a way around that for the TPD as well, because if you don't sell it with the liquid, something like that, you can still buy as big a tank as you want. You cannot sell the product and sell the person e-liquid at the same time type thing. It's a bizarre. It's a little bizarre. It's a little bizarre how they get around it, but they get around it.
That's short fills. That's how they're able to. That's how they're able to do bigger. Because they had size restrictions. So like for a liquid that already contains nicotine, you can only have up to.
It's 10 mil bottles.
It's 10 mil bottles, but maximum nicotine I think is like 24 milligram per milliliter. I think is maximum, and then it's a 10 mil bottle. So if you sell a 0 milligram, you can do that. Doesn't have to be registered and listed the same way. So you can sell, and that's what everybody's doing. Is you take a 60 mil chubby gorilla, you fill it up with 50, you leave 10 milliliters of space, you fill it with 50, you sell it, and then there's companies that sell nicotine shots, so you buy your nicotine shots added in.
I would suggest they don't call them short fills.
That's the industry standard. I don't know.
No, he's just saying because we have Fresh on the show, he doesn't want to offend him.
What is
that what it is? I'm wearing my purple shirt and Graham's down here. You smirk motherfucker.
No, man, I haven't said a
fucking like this, Graham.
Dude, fucking
I can't believe you treat me like this, Graham.
No, man, dude, Graham, you can't trust this motherfucker.
I'm telling you.
I know, right? You're not. It's not only heightist. It's not only heightist, Graham. It's racist.
It's just so fucking ridiculous.
There's intended use clauses.
Intention, right?
Exactly.
There's intended use clauses in the FDA regulations. So the 0 milligram liquid gets treated the same as a liquid with nicotine in it.
Especially if you call them short fills, because what's it filled short of?
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like,
here we go again.
Not call them, and then I keeping salt fresh.
That was the first thing I thought of. Like, why don't we just short fill here, and then going through the regulations, it's like that's not going to work under the currently written.
Yeah, that's true.
And I mean, there's still hope that the deeming regs are what they are, but there's always room for rewrites and getting things pushed, and I mean, there's still lots of room to play.
And on the e-liquid side, if one liquid is able to get a PMTA, get an approved PMTA, that's going to open the door to essentially every other liquid, right? If they pass one liquid, I can't see them being able to justify that there's some major difference between the liquid that was able to get the PMTA and any other liquid that's on the market. So I feel like if they pass one, they're going to end up having to pass almost everything, provided that you have, no harmful ingredients. You're not putting stuff in there that you shouldn't be putting in there that could be detrimental to human health or whatever.
West.
So
titanium, colorants. you know, food, like, you know, food coloring and stuff like that's a definite no. And you know, as much as we go around and around about it within the community, definitely the diketones are going to be an issue as far as they're concerned.
So
you know?
I got a handful of texts. Are you guys ready to move back to news?
Yeah.
Let's do this thing.
Okay, so
Worried about you.
I just want to see blood coming out of his fist, like a good heavy metal or punk rock album cover, just like blood just pouring down his fist.
Is Train heavy metal?
So about
Train have an album cover like that? Fuck.
It's gonna be like one of those extreme Japanese wrestling matches from the 90s.
Oh, death matches
with the thumbtacks and the barbed wire ropes. That's what it's gonna look like.
Yeah, the explosions. Yeah.
And the fluorescent light bulb tubes that
dude, they went hard.
Beautiful.
Man.
They still do that here in the U.S.
I remember watching tapes of Mick Foley doing that back then, before he was in the WWE or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, this dude is insane.
So Donald
lost an ear.
Donald Trump has claimed that the EU is foes.
Is what?
Foes. He has claimed that they are foes. However, he has refused to call Russia an adversary because they helped out in World War II.
Because Putin doesn't say anything bad about Trump that he knows about. But the EU is always, the member states of the EU are always saying things that he disagrees with, or saying that he's doing things wrong. So of course he's going to have a problem with them.
I just love the rationale, because they helped us in World War II. Like, we didn't try to almost immediately start a war with them immediately after World War II.
Or the fact that they helped us in World War II. But
they didn't help
no,
us.
They helped defeat Germany along with the UK, Canada,
they nominally,
France.
Yeah, they were nominally part of the Allies, but they would have done the same thing on their own regardless.
Yeah,
they would have done the same thing that they did if they had been in an alliance with the United States or not.
But what drives me nuts is that he tries to drive a wedge between us and Canada using the War of 1812 as an example.
Yeah.
When he says we've been friends with Russia using World War II as an example. Like, I mean,
and then just completely ignoring the Cold War.
Ignoring the Cold War.
Well, I mean, Patton seriously was like drawing battle plans during World War II of like, okay, the second this ends, here's how we march into Russia.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I completely understand the rationale that Patton had. You know, there's two superpowers left in this world.
Yeah. No, I know.
Let's be the one.
Yeah.
You know, I get it.
Yeah, I mean, Churchill never wanted to. He didn't trust the Russians. He was doing the same thing, figuring out how they were going to be the next thing to take care of afterwards. Yeah, and the other thing too, we may have nominally been allies, but we were not working towards the same goals.
No, you can tell when we met in Berlin.
Right. Like they had a separate agenda. Like it's the fact that they wanted to. Just the fact that both of us wanted to defeat Germany was like what we had in common.
Yeah,
that was it.
Yeah,
the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
We were working to complete separate ends, you know, via different means the entire time. It just happened that we were working towards one.
We did give them arms. Like we did give them arms and had trade deals with them, but like, I mean, yeah, no, Russia or the Soviet Union at that time, like, justifiably so, was out for blood. Like they were more about like, hey, dude, no, we're just gonna roll over Germany.
Yeah.
So
like they just killed like 30 million of our people. Like we're just gonna murder them.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about Montenegro really quick.
Okay.
That might be the best transition I've ever heard on the show.
That's smooth, silky smooth.
Like the thing that really got me about like a lot of that is in that interview with Hannity, like after the summit or whatever, like Trump completely unprompted brought up, well, if somebody invades Montenegro, we don't want to have to be committed to go in there, right? How many times in his entire life do you think that Donald Trump has thought about Montenegro? Like zero, probably, right? So Russia's had designs on basically they they were about to like instrument like this whole coup that fell apart in Montenegro. I'm willing to bet somebody $5 American that Putin talked to Donald Trump specifically about some sort of plan for invading Montenegro in that meeting, because Donald Trump just spits shit out that people say to him.
Yeah, I mean, do you think
I would not be willing to take that bet, even though $5 doesn't mean a whole lot to me. I completely agree that, you know, he was prompted by his Russian handlers.
like it's that kind of shit that's terrifying to me.
Yeah. Do you think he even knew where Montenegro was prior to that conversation?
Does he have a casino there? I doubt it.
I doubt it. Yeah. They're still, reeling from Civil War, you know, still to this day.
Yeah, if he had a casino in Montenegro, he would know. He would know where it was. But
you know what? Part of the thing too, not just I think it's not just the fact that, you know, he's friends with Putin, but it's also, you know, Russia is it's an oligarchy at this point.
Right.
And I think that's what Trump would like the U.S. to be, because he thinks that he would be an oligarch controlling a vast.
With gangsters.
He started it off this week too. I mean, all media is now enemies of the state, basically.
Right.
Because they're following him around. He's like that.
That's been his entire thing the entire time, though. That's not a new development.
Oh no, it's not. But no, it's new that he came out very very intent that just, hey, do you know the media is our enemy.
Who wasn't aware that Donald Trump was asked
enemy of American people? Like,
my favorite part of that, like the new nuance in the story, is when he's over in the UK giving the interview about how awful Theresa May is. Like, he literally listened to words that he had just said and called it fake. Like, he was literally on tape saying those exact things, and then he's like, no, that didn't happen. And like, it's just like, this is okay. Like, oh, he's just being quirky. Like, this is not safe for anybody.
My favorite was how the Queen has never inspected the troops in 20 years or whatever. That one was my favorite.
Like, does he know who she is?
No.
Like, I don't understand what his thought process would be. Criticizing one of the most pro-military monarchs that goes out and spends time with the fucking troops.
Yeah, no, it was somewhere along the lines of, no, she actually went out and inspected the troops because I was there, and she hasn't done it in like 20 years. And I'm just sitting here like,
but she did that.
I watch her do this on TV.
She did that before he came
all the time. All the time. She goes out all the time to go hang out with the military.
Do you think he's aware that she actually served in World War II?
Oh, I doubt it. I doubt very much. Well, he might be now
in uniform, like doing stuff during World War II.
Well,
he might be now.
Didn't do it.
I think
and she wasn't the great thing about her is, like, she wasn't, you know, like, she wasn't like Nurse Corps or something like that. She was like a fucking mechanic.
I think he's just unaware.
He's unaware.
I'm betting after he said something, people are like, whoa, dude, whoa.
He's unaware of anything that doesn't directly affect or revolve around him. You know what I mean? Like, if he's not involved in it, like, he doesn't care about it and doesn't know about it.
Yeah. I concur with that thought process completely. Yeah. If it doesn't involve Donald Trump, he does not care.
It's gone past just like narcissism into like megalomania at this point.
Yeah. I said, can we stop electing people in their 70s? Like, hey, dude, if you made it to 70, you have earned the right to say whatever the fuck you want. I'm not saying that. Just don't hold political office.
We have restrictions on how old somebody, the youngest age that somebody can become president. So maybe there should be an elder cutoff. Like, I don't even think I want him to have a driver's license anymore. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think I trust him with that.
It's just one of those things where it's like, hey, if you're retirement age, just retire. Like, I'm happy for you.
Does Donald Trump have a driver's license? I mean, when was the last time you think that dude drove himself anywhere?
No idea.
When he was like 18, maybe. I don't know. I don't think that dude has any interest in driving a car.
He took it out a couple weeks ago.
He said
they asked him what he misses the most is driving, and I'm pretty sure like 2 weeks ago he took the car out and they flipped the fuck out about it because he used to drive himself a lot.
I know other presidents have they've had a. I know specifically George W. Bush has when he would go like to his ranch in Texas, he had cars that he could drive around like on his property or whatever.
Just in his property, they made him a little racetrack. How cute.
Something like that. It's where he would be able to drive around or whatever.
Donald Trump's a complete asshole. I mean, everyone knows, but we knew that, right? I mean,
I thought that was pretty well known, beforehand.
I mean, that was the appeal. It's just,
I guess
this is like, there were people who like, hey, let's vote for an asshole, but those same people are sticking by him.
Yeah.
When it's hey, let's vote for an asshole who's in bed with the Russians. Like,
well, I'll tell you what it is.
Well, no, that's why I agree with what Fresh was saying, is because I don't think they care.
No, they do not.
It's
they do not. They really do not.
Half of them don't care, and the other half think that the other side's bullshit.
I think they don't care because they don't understand it.
That's exactly what it is.
Like they're apathetic because they don't actually understand the consequences and like what could happen from this or what has happened from it.
That's where my point's been the whole time.
It's too far removed from them. I feel like the core Trump voter is so far removed from those levels of like geopolitics that they don't care. They don't care because they don't feel like it affects them anyway, so they don't know about it. They don't want to learn about it. They don't want to understand.
It's more. I was a Trump voter. I voted for Trump, and maybe I won't vote for him again.
Well, that's it. I don't know who's running, out of here.
No, listen. Fuck this. Seriously, listen.
Yeah, where's the
but I'm also real open to the fact that he maybe, because I think he's got the worst personality of all time. I've hated his personality forever. The only reason I voted for him was because I just could not stand Hillary. But I just think that both sides are doing such a good job of making the other ones look like they're wrong, and that it's a big conspiracy. Everything's a huge conspiracy. Then eventually everything starts seeming like a conspiracy, and nobody believes anything. And then what do you do then?
Right.
That's been my whole point the whole time, is we should probably just stop. Like, seriously start looking at both sides.
Okay.
Anybody that's serious, I mean. But then some people say they don't want to do that. They're staunch against looking at both sides, and that's to me what seems like just ridiculous.
But what you're saying with that statement though is that one side can't be right.
No. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that that eventually, no matter, instead of looking at the right and both sides of the story, they immediately go back to their little own group, and they don't believe anything that's happening over there, and the other side doesn't believe anything that's happening to the other side, so nothing happens. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying people need to start looking at the facts and decide, instead of just listening to Fox News or MSNBC and staying with their own. You know what I'm saying? Like staying with their own.
That takes work.
I know, and people don't want to do that.
That takes engagement, and the average person doesn't want to do it.
I don't know.
That's a fucking problem. That's a problem.
I think
people don't want to do that. So what do? Lower our standards?
Well, we already have. Look how many people don't vote. Look how many people are not registered, or even if they're registered, don't actually go and vote. Look at what the actual voter turnout is compared to the population.
Well, and that's what I meant a couple weeks ago. I was saying we're getting pimped. Because people, the people running shit know that everyone's lazy and that nobody's willing to look, so they're doing everything they can to make it just surface shit.
It's what, 30 million voters, if that?
Yeah, something like that.
10% of the fucking population.
Right.
I thought it was a little higher than 10%.
I think it's like 60. I think it's like 60 million. I think 30 might be 70.
It's disgusting.
Yeah, it is.
I just like the thing is, like, the scenarios here. So you have the scenario where these are, like, I guess, low information voters, not like in a bad way or anything, but people that don't actually follow stuff. But I feel like that lets people off a little bit easy, and that's kind of like the best case scenario. I think there's also a pretty strong argument to be made that there's a lot of really, really dark undercurrents in the American experience that Donald Trump speaks to, and that's why they're going along with all this.
But you only agree with your side. You know what I'm saying? Like there could be things happening that might be right on the other side that you don't know about, and you won't know about.
No, that's you know what I'm saying? My problem is like that. I understand what you're saying, and that is, I rail against those people because I have to deal with a lot of those people who are like, left's always right, right is always right,
which can never be.
It's hard, right? Exactly, but it's also harder because and you can link this back to mass media. I've had conversations with both sides who can't actually rationalize there's bad actors on both sides.
And a big part of the problem is that it's not like there's bad on this side, there's bad on this side, but there's not bad on this side. The problem is that there's two sides and there's bad on both sides, so you just have to pick which one is least bad.
But you should also, instead of just picking what's least bad, which is what you have to do when you vote, right? Obviously.
Well, I don't.
But maybe when you're researching
it's a representative democracy. We don't have a system where you're ever going to have somebody that aligns 100%.
No. Yeah, and that's the beauty of it, though. That's what it's supposed to be.
To agree with some things and disagree with other things. That's possible, but that doesn't seem what's going on. But it doesn't seem like what's going on. It seems like people are only agreeing with one side, and that's it.
Yeah,
and that's what I'm saying. I think could be a problem.
No, it is a problem because no, I agree with you there because like no, that's what they did right when they started it was they tried to make it diverse. So it's like, hey, no, you two have to get along, and that was beautiful. But right now, like there is a lot of people on both sides who are like, I hear just as many people saying the alt-right's evil Nazis, but the left's completely fine, as I hear saying, oh yeah, no, Antifa's the hell of the earth, but everyone on the right's great. And it's just like, no,
yeah, it's just as crazy.
We live in a world where no, both of those things are really fucked up.
Right. Well, see, remember with the cages like a couple weeks ago?
Rational and like try to like agree with each other and do things where it's like, no, fuck those like people who are the bad actors.
All guilty.
I'm never not going to be in favor of punching a Nazi. Let's just throw that out there.
Yeah.
Well, but then see, somebody that's German might disagree with you.
But well, no. The Germans are probably the most against Nazis.
I know they hate them. I know. But I'm saying, like, we're all guilty of it. Like,
I mean, it's false equivalence, though. Like, that's the thing. When you look at Antifa, you're talking about a fairly splinter group of people who aren't going out there and terrorizing people.
Some of them are. Like, I say that, and I'm saying this as a liberal. Yes, no, some of them are. Most of them are fine. There is a small splinter group that's kind of piece of shit humans. Just like there's also on the other side a small splinter group of piece of shit humans.
But how big is that small splinter group on the other side? Like I don't
big enough to make some people think that it's all of them.
Yeah,
just like a blanket statement that one side does bad things and the other side does bad things, so magically the truth is in the middle.
No, that's not really the only thing.
Like there's a fucking
that is part of the equation. You have
but there's this whole thing that the one thing that you can't be intolerant the one thing that you can be intolerant of is intolerance. Like you can't abide fucking Nazis.
I agree with that. The problem is I agree with that. I don't abide that. There is a splinter group of the alt-right who and that's part of the problem is now everyone who is part of a party is their lowest common denominator. So just because there literally are Nazis who have clung to the right, that doesn't make everyone in the right on the right wing Nazis. The same way that there is a group of people who like to beat the shit out of Nazis on the left doesn't mean everyone on the left is going out trying to start fights.
But the ones who gain from it will use that and they'll run with it and they'll make everyone look. It's just and they're all just hyping their own shit.
I do see the different levels of. I see the argument that there is different levels there. Like one is a bigot and one is supposedly fighting a bigot, but there is a question there of how. I mean, that
shouldn't be under RICO laws.
That's getting like super philosophical of like how far is it okay to be opposed to said bigot before you become said bigot? Like, is it like, yeah, no, fuck Nazis. I punched. I used to be a punk kid. I totally grew up in a gang that we'd love to punch Nazis. At the end of the day, though, does that really make me a better person if I'm just going and beating up the shit out of people? There is that question.
Yeah, and I get that there's that question. There's that core of like, well, violence is bad. And I will completely agree. Like, yes, violence is bad. Nobody should be whatever. But the idea that there's this large roaming band of Antifa around like harassing like soccer moms and SUVs. Like that's not the way.
That's because
there is some,
right, but there's
not
a couple of
right.
them, so the other side grabbed it and made
Right.
it look like it's a thing.
Right.
They're all doing it.
Whereas there's a fairly sizable group of fucking neo-Nazis in polo shirts marching with.
I agree. And
do you see how you're taking one side and
you.
agreeing with it and the other side not? You know, like
exactly.
we're all getting pimped. Both sides have very smart fucking people that are doing that.
And probably only because I'm drunk, but he's actually slightly
I've been making sense the whole fucking time. That's all I've been saying the whole time.
There isn't a fucking moral equivalence there.
But you're not getting the point. Like it's not.
No, it's not moral.
It's not that one. Like if you go to court for murder,
it's propaganda.
If your attorney comes in and goes, my client may have murdered a guy, but the guy next door to him, you know, did this, this, and this. That's not a fucking defense. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you got to take each case individually, and you can't say that there's this. They're all just taking whatever they got and making everybody the other side look bad, and half the country's believing it.
I'm just saying, you know? Anti-fascists and fascists aren't.
It doesn't matter.
Bad.
But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, and you're right.
They can be because what he's saying is they can take, even if it is say it's an exponentially smaller number of radical Antifa factions versus alt-right neo-Nazis, even if it's 100-1 neo-Nazis to Antifa, just because the Antifa stuff happens, the media, whoever, can take those events and be able to spin it, to present it to people, to make them feel like it's more than that.
Like it's a massive thing.
Right. Because you see the way, I see the way that the hardcore right wing talks about Antifa. And I'm like, I think there's probably a lot more hardcore right, the alt right, the white supremacy type of stuff than Antifa, but the way it's presented, you wouldn't think that.
Yeah, you totally don't.
Equal. You would think that it's like an equal amount, and they're doing an equal amount of things, but it's not.
Yeah, and then depending on who you listen to, it's even less. Like
if there's any of it, they can exploit it.
Okay, but
that's what Graham was saying.
Yeah, right. I had to convince my dad over 3 hours and find actual like proof that in Charlottesville an alt-right kid ran over a bunch of people and wasn't a member of Antifa.
Yeah, because the way it gets presented, obviously this has to be a false flag attack to make us look bad. Yeah,
right. That is totally a huge fucking thing.
That's the Alex Jones effect on the right wing now.
100%.
Everything. 100%. Turning frogs gay and everything.
But what Rick is
suicidal
saying
fish
is also it has merit. It is correct. And if you take it to a greater scale, yes, anti-fascists are way better than fucking fascists.
Yeah, for sure.
But
they're not morally equal. You're right.
What Graham's trying to argue is it goes down onto an individual level. You've had a couple of smattering of really terrible human beings on the alt-right, for example, run over people. You've also had a small smattering of people, you're basically rioting, basically throwing bricks through things. No, they're not comparable, but that doesn't mean either one of them is commendable.
And it also doesn't mean that they can. There could be one event on one side and 100 different events on the other side. But if there's one event that they can take and exploit, they can convince a lot of people of that just by using those things. And they may have been doing it the whole time, and you don't know. You're just basing your opinion on what you see.
Also, trust me, I totally get off.
Right, exactly.
When that one dude who tried to come to Michigan State, who just got banned from entering Scandinavia because of Poland.
Yeah,
the super Nazi dude.
Richard Spencer,
thank you. Oh, dude, trust me, I still to this day just watch porn of my college, kids from my college, just mobbing him. Basically,
you watch porn of your kids in college?
It's porn to me,
nice.
Basically. Because there was just so many people I knew that were just one kid's just walking around with a drum, starting rallying people up, just hey, if you see a Nazi, punch him in the face. I'm like.
So
I'm just tired of politeness at this point, and I'm tired of the idea
what's going to happen?
I have to work to swallow everything that I believe in, and in terms of the actual news stuff, the facts are against Trump 100%.
Well, no, that's what you're getting, though. That's the facts you're getting.
Pretty much 100%.
I hear you, and I believe you, but I'm just saying that anything can be spun, and you just got to be aware. You just got to be careful. Are you ready for the violence? Because I don't think you are.
No, I don't think any of us actually want. But well, apparently Rick might want violence. I don't know. I'm not going to speak for him. But
I'm just
saying we better be pretty goddamn sure that things are the way that they say they are before we start doing things like that. Before we start calling for violence.
This is evolved beyond civility. I'm not advocating that people actually get grievously injured. I'm not advocating that people get killed or something. I just have.
But these are morons.
I have no tolerance for the idea that I have to fucking grin and bear it when there's a large segment, some sizable segment on the other side that don't respect basic human rights, who want to put children in cages, and they're cool with that, who want to, like, I'm tired of being civil about that kind of stuff. I'm sorry, but if
you're not seeing what the other side is being fed. You know what I mean? Because of the fact that none of us are looking at the whole picture. So you're not seeing what the other side is being fed, which is just as egregious as what you think that is happening there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like both sides really believe what they're saying.
But I'm not taking
fucking calling for violence,
guys.
No, better be sure.
I hate to cut us off, but we got more news to cover. We got a whole week of news to cover.
I'm never going to be violent against you.
No.
Like the NRA's been infiltrated by a Russian spy.
Yeah, I saw that too.
I'm surprised the goddamn Russians.
But hey, dude, they're great.
Possibly the most damning is that the NRA, 2 days after it was released that she had strong ties to the NRA, they made their donors private.
It was a she?
Yeah. Actually, Butina
really?
or some shit like that. Amanda Butina, some shit. I don't know.
She was able to get it done, like a guy?
I'm a gun guy, but I can't stand the NRA.
No, they're the worst. They make it worse for every gun owner.
No,
they really do.
I own a gun. I love shooting guns. They're a hell of a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But my dad is that NRA dude.
I own 2 guns, but I'm all for people regulating the guns because I'm not a fucking criminal or a crazy person.
Well, no, even him, like, who is a staunch defender of Second Amendment, things like that, he does agree with me. I can get him to agree, and he agrees with me most times that, like, no, there is a
most gun owners are rational.
Yeah, no, there is an argument to be said that no, we don't want to take away all the guns, but like, let's be real, like it's a fucking 6-hour class. That's kind of
my only argument is that criminals are criminals, and they're no matter what they do with the regulations or whatever. If criminals want guns, they're not worried about laws. They're criminals.
Yeah,
so there's not really much you can legislate out, you know.
No, well, there is.
No, you could.
There totally is.
The first
because you're not gonna die from a criminal. You're like 60 times. It's like 60 times more likely that your kid's gonna find that gun and shoot you than a criminal ever is.
Oh, I know, but I'm talking about when they bring
and
it
there's
up all the time
totally
during,
things you can do
school shootings and shit.
The first thing is to enforce the laws that are actually already in place. That
absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
They're way enough.
If the laws had been, if the regulations and laws had been proper, just as one example, if they were already being enforced fully the way that they should be, the church massacre in Texas wouldn't have happened.
Right.
Because that guy would not have been eligible to be able to purchase firearms.
Yeah. Like,
but would he have got his hands on one?
Maybe
is my point. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, maybe you're right.
But
I think mental health is probably more important.
He would not have been able to do it the way.
Mental health is also really important.
Right.
Okay,
it's probably most important.
The problem is that, holy shit, we have a ton of guns. The answer isn't like, well, let's just add more.
No, but to make legislation on shit that's not really going to work is also a waste of time when we could be putting resources into mental health.
Well, no, but
like that we're you know,
hey, trust me,
all of those people are crazy. That's the bottom line.
Things of mental health, but it's not.
But that's what they.
There's
all
some
have
that
in
are
common.
totally rational too, which is really hard. But it's one of those things where it's like, no, there's like, for me, it's, hey, dude, my driver's license was way easier to get than my like CPL. That's fucked up. That is, they should at the bare minimum, they should be equal level. Both of those are equally capable of killing someone. They should be equal level.
But the fact that you're not insane is keeping you from doing that. So it doesn't matter if it's easy to get a gun or not easy to get a gun.
But it shouldn't matter if he's it shouldn't matter if he's insane or not. It should still be harder than a driver's license to get.
Yeah, I bought a shotgun at Walmart at 4 a.m.
Yeah, that's his point. And if guns are used for self-defense, why are sniper rifles sold?
Right.
Like it's one of those things.
At what point are you gonna? At what point is someone going to be 200 meters away, and you have to defend yourself against them?
I mean, but if you
when the liberals
they run fast.
If you look at the statistics though, like all of those, like the stuff that people love to bring out as being weapons that civilians should not be able to possess, like they are very rarely the weapons that are used in illegal activity. Like the majority, I would say 99.9% of any sniper rifle that's sold on the civilian market is to somebody that's a gun person that wants to own it because they think it's cool, and B, like take it out to the range or whatever.
Okay. Then the big one in the news, the AR-15s, has an effective range of 150 meters.
Right, but
so does a 30-30.
True.
So does a 30-6. So does any deer rifle.
Never mind.
I was gonna say my 300 Savage has range further than that.
Is an AR-15 considered an effective self-defense weapon? I don't think any rifle is.
Oh man, I'd say an M14 carbine in the house might be better than a shotgun.
I think a pistol, a pistol, in my opinion, is the best self-defense weapon. Why? Because it's manageable at short range.
Yeah.
If someone is charging you and you have a rifle, that rifle becomes ineffective within like 10 feet.
Yeah,
if a person is within 10 feet of you, it's in effect.
Yeah.
A dude isn't going to be charging you from 40 feet away if you have a rifle. If you have a rifle, the thing is, if he gets in within 10 feet, if you don't have a pistol, you're fucked.
What if you had a warthog?
In any sort of self-defense scenario, I would always choose a long gun over a handgun, if possible.
How about a servo?
I'm the opposite. I'm the opposite. I'd choose a handgun.
My biggest thing is, hey, can I reach it around a corner of my out my door?
My biggest thing is, will it blow this corner off and go through that guy's chest?
Because that's what I've always had against shotguns. It's just like, no, I don't want
the shotgun. You should blow through the wall though.
No, you do want shotgun.
I don't want a 5-foot-long shotgun. I can't fit through a door. No, I don't.
You don't get a 5-foot shotgun. You get a shotgun. You get a
Serbo Super Shorty.
Get a junior size shotgun.
That's fine.
Any kind of home defense situation, I'd either want like a riot gun or a shotgun, or I'd want a carbine AR-15.
Yeah.
Serbo Super Shorty.
Why?
For home defense, I use a shotgun. For personal carry, I use a pistol.
It goes and they get the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as like for a daily carry, like going everywhere, yeah, absolutely, because a long gun would not be practical. But if I knew that I was going to be in a self-defense situation where I was going to have to use a firearm of some sort, I would much prefer to have a long gun because all the benefits that come with it. But it's not feasible to be able to carry a long gun at all times like that. So that's, obviously a pistol is going to be the best solution for most people because that's what you're able to carry and conceal and you can become proficient with the pistol too.
Oh, also,
have you seen anyone
else who has their CPL here
for actual action? In my opinion,
Shout outs to my mother. Anyone here who has a CPL, if you actually bring that on federal territory, go fuck yourself.
All right. Well, okay.
Look, there's the amount.
Wait, hold on. Say that sentence again. Shout out to your mother.
Shout out to my mother. If you actually if you have a CPL and you actually carry on federal property, go fuck yourself.
Okay. That's
like if you're like running into the post office or like the school, just like I got my CPL, that's a federal offense. You fucking dumbass.
Or a national park, like you're an offender.
No, they cleared it for some.
Oh, they did.
Some parks you can carry in now. Yeah,
it's like banks and casinos and federal buildings, right?
Post offices, courthouses.
I'm just going to play devil's advocate here. So what you're saying is that a federal space is more important than something like a movie theater.
Oh, I don't just agree with that. I'm just looking out for my own mother's protection. I'm just saying, hey, no,
go fuck yourself.
Yeah, it's literally a federal. That's the way the current law is. Hey, if this is federal protected territory, no, you are not allowed to.
Yeah, that's kind of stupid.
If you even if you have a CPL, you are not allowed to carry there.
I'm just saying you can't carry in Congress.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's pretty stupid.
But they're all for fucking concealed carry laws. Like,
you're right on that, you bleeding heart.
This is.
I know you hate when people call you that. It's you're right. You're right. That's stupid.
I mean, the whole thing with concealed carry though is like, honestly, a concealed carrier is the last person you're probably going to have to worry about committing some kind of a crime.
Oh yeah, for sure. They're always shooting people on the spot.
It's the last person I want at a crime.
See, and that's a symptom of not having gun control.
Right.
Like the fact that it's so easy to get a gun without a concealed carry. You don't have to show a concealed carry permit to buy a pistol. You don't have to show any sort of permit in order to buy the guns.
Right. Well, I mean, most states have regulations governing handguns.
Not Nevada. Nevada.
I'm just it's a state by state thing, but like Maryland, there's a lot of stuff that you have to hop through to be able to buy a firearm, and you're not going to get it. Like Maryland does not issue concealed carry permits.
Yeah,
aren't they doing something where if you have it in one state, it's going to be like viable in another state?
There's only
working on something like that.
Well, I mean, there's already reciprocality laws in place, and it's a state like it's like driver's licenses. Like there's the compact between different states to where if you get a citation or you get some kind of traffic incident or whatever, it can reflect on your you can carry those points in your home state. But there's like I think Delaware is reciprocal with Pennsylvania and Ohio for handgun carry. So if you have a Delaware carry license, you can legally carry in Pennsylvania or in Ohio, or if you have one in Ohio, you can carry in. But it's not 50 because there are states where you are not going to get a concealed carry permit. Yeah. So obviously, there's not going to be reciprocal with that.
It came up out here when the pot thing, when they were putting the recreational pot, like the gun thing they were saying, because you're in Washington, both of you, right? You and Fresh.
Yeah.
Is it? Can you carry between? Because the whole basically Nevada and the whole West Coast, it's all legal recreationally, right?
Not California.
California's legal recreationally.
They just went recreational.
Marijuana recreational.
I don't know that you can carry it between states.
I'm 100% certain that you cannot carry it between states.
That's what I thought. So I don't know. The gun thing just came up when they were debating it out
So
here.
is in Washington, is that Oregon Kush still primo?
I'm a federal employee, so I couldn't tell you one way or the other.
Good point. All right.
But there are, as more states add in medical or recreational marijuana, they are adjusting whatever their firearm laws are.
Right. I know there's a correlation between the two.
In Pennsylvania, if you have a medical card, you will not be issued a concealed carry permit.
Right.
Like you can still purchase firearms, but they will not. Originally, they were going to say that you couldn't purchase any firearms, but then they had a ruling where they said they weren't going to release the list of medical marijuana users to federal agencies, because that would be a knock on your federal form when you went to.
What if it goes recreational?
Purchase.
All right, so
that's why I always told people not to get their med cards.
Moving to the next news.
We missed the part where they were funneling money into Republican campaigns. Through
true. The NRA with a Russian.
I didn't want to
bullshit
about it.
I don't believe that. Didn't happen.
All right, but 2 weeks before his inauguration, Donald J. Trump was shown highly classified intelligence indicating that Vladimir Putin personally ordered cyber attacks to sway the 2016 American election.
Wait, what?
This is from the New York Times.
I know.
No, that doesn't even matter what side.
That's why I just said I know.
Yeah. He was shown information from his intelligence officials that Vladimir Putin had influenced the election that elected him.
Yeah.
He was shown.
Please no rat.
He was shown proof that Putin personally did it. He was shown records that showed Putin communicating to his officers to influence the election.
Mm-hmm.
Where's that coming out from? And I'm not
the New York Times.
I don't know. Okay.
The sources were people in the meeting, meaning that somebody got pissed off enough about this.
Meaning one of the three intelligence officials that Trump fired said,
I've been waiting to happen.
"Well, I guess it's time people know this."
Because it's going to happen. It's going to happen more and more. People in the inside are coming out.
2017 meeting held at Trump Tower was a prime example. He was briefed on that day by John H. O'Brien, the CIA director, James R. Clapper Jr., the director of national intelligence, and Admiral
Michael S. Rogers, the director of the NSA and the commander of the United States Cyber Command.
FBI Director James B. Comey was also there. After the formal briefing, he privately told Mr. Trump about the Steele dossier. That report by a former British intelligence officer also included uncorroborated, salacious stories of Mr. Trump's activities during a visit to Moscow, which he denied.
But
I've always said that if a guy's been as rich as he is for so long, and his amount of wealth is not, I'm not debating that, to not be able to come up with a bunch of shit on him, what kind of packages is he giving these people? But you know what I mean? Like to keep them quiet, because he's obviously done shit.
He's had ties to the mafia before.
Yeah, but what's that? The mafia?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he's in Atlantic City. I mean, in between Philly and New York. It's yeah, but I'm just saying, like, nobody really was talking. They didn't really come up with very much shit on him during the. I mean, they did, but the amount of shit. You know the amount of shit they could come up with if I had that kind of money.
Oh, there's still. So
I mean, they could come up with shit I had today. Things I've done today are worse than those.
Yeah, but you're not running for president.
I get that, but I'm still saying there's not that many people came out and said anything about it either. There wasn't that much stuff negative about him. So what's he fucking giving? If he's doing all this shit, what's he giving?
Depends on which side you're on, but yeah.
Yeah, right.
Again,
and, I mean, people have come out and spoke out a lot of it, especially,
but not as many as you would think.
I mean, the
depends on what side you're on.
One of the bigger things with this is this just completely refutes like everything he said for the last.
It's enough for me.
You know what I mean? He has been aware of it. We know the exact date from when he was officially aware of it, and then we can look at all the things that he said denying it.
If it's that clear and it's facts, then you have to do that. You have to look at it.
Dude, Hannity asked him a question about Obama. He's good.
And I mean, that's my other thing too. If he had that information then, that means the previous administration also had.
Yeah, exactly.
No, they did.
Exactly.
So
where the fuck were they?
No, that is actually part. No, he that's been there. Yeah, no, Obama was aware of it, thought it wasn't really going to happen or something like that, and then once it happened, he would try to attempt to say both of them, but both of them have denied that he told them. That's always been part of that story.
That's shady.
No, yeah, that's always been part of that story.
Whoa.
It's not new news.
My biggest issue with this is just the fact that we've been blatantly lied to for this entire time now, and we know
we won't put up with that. Thank you.
We won't, but
no, we won't. This country will not put up with people lying. I don't think they will.
No, the people.
I think you're underestimating people's ability to deny the truth.
But I think
it's partially that. When we just look at Congress and nothing's gonna happen.
All the terrible shit that's happened that politicians have perpetrated, and how many presidents have been successfully impeached?
Yeah, but look at the ones that have
and that wasn't even successful
or impeached. No, I know, but
that wasn't even successful. He left office on his own. He's like,
but the times that we've attempted to impeach, or there has been whatever. Every time it's about lying. Every time.
Yeah.
It's not even about what they do. It's about them lying to the American people right in their face. And if that's the case, and it's able to be cut and dry, then I don't think the people will put up with it.
Yeah, but are the Republicans going to be brave enough to actually go along with an impeachment proceeding? Would they be willing to do that?
If it's cut and dry, I think
I don't think so.
I
really don't think so.
But no, that's not even.
I hope you're wrong.
That's not even a Republican issue. The Democrats are all about it right now, because it's
either side turning on their own side.
No, it's
hard to do.
It's that, but it's also like, I wouldn't even be surprised if Donald Trump's not the dirtiest man in the room at that hearing.
That's probably true.
Probably not even close. But he's the one on the biggest stage, obviously, and he's been. Yeah, I agree. He's been lying, and there's proof that if there's proof, then he should go through the impeachment process. The outcome is to be determined. them actually getting enough votes anywhere to actually and get enough people in the Republican Party that would be willing to turn on Donald Trump at this point with I mean, even with this coming out, I'm sure his popularity level's still ridiculously higher than it should be. And then his influence that has been on the Republican Party over the last 2 years, like there's I just do not see it.
I do. I've defended a lot of stuff that he's done just because I don't like the bullshit on both sides, and a lot of stuff I just don't think is true. But if it's true, and there's facts, and it's there's crazy fucking people, don't get me wrong, that won't care one way or another, that just will deny the truth. But I think there's less of those than people think. And I think more Americans are more concerned with not being lied to and everything being true than defending some guy that is lying.
Why can't we just elect a nice even-handed libertarian that wants to listen to both sides?
Because you got to be a scumbag to get elected.
Yeah. You got to be a pretty good. You got to have a pretty good size narcissism complex going on to get elected.
You like the modern version. You have to be the modern reinterpretation of libertarians and not an actual libertarian.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I always want the truth to be made available in public as soon as possible, is when it's found out, because I feel like citizens have a right to know, like, whatever is discovered. But I kind of wish that this had come out closer to the midterm elections, because I feel like it could have had a lot more of an impact with voting more Democrats into office, which then could have given potential for something to actually happen.
Well, I mean, if the Democrats don't wake up after this,
it's happening months out now. So how much of this current like vitriol and passion is still going to be left by November?
Yeah, do you want to be even more terrified? If that goes through, then we could have a President Pence.
They should have woke up the day that Donald Trump was elected and not stopped. Because if the Democrats don't come out in droves to make sure he doesn't get reelected, then what can you do? How can you help? I mean, they don't realize it's all a game.
We'll see what happens with these elections coming up. But I mean, the last several, how the representatives and the Senate, both sides have been just lame duck session after lame duck session, and it doesn't matter who's in the majority. It hasn't mattered. And I'm still a firm believer, vote everybody out at this point. Yeah. Everybody. If you're an incumbent, you should go.
Yeah.
You should go at this point. And just slowly but surely, nice fresh start for everything. But that's also unrealistic. It's unrealistic.
Yeah. No, I'm totally on team. Can we not have 50% of Congress be lawyers?
I'm totally fine with, like, I say this all the time on my channel. I'm like, you can vote for your party, just don't vote for the same fucking guy.
Mm-hmm.
Stop. Because they haven't made any progress.
Right. Politicians should not be a career choice.
Yeah, career politician should never have even been a term. They used to come in and they'd serve their time and then they go back to work and do their whole thing what they really did.
Well,
no, it's not like that.
That's how it was founded. It was, hey, you're a country. You have an idea that you want to try to make things better. You want to try to help people out. You want to change some things, get some things going so they make more sense. So you go, you do that for your 4 years, your 8 years, your 6 years, whatever it is. And then once you do it, once you finish that, then you leave and go back to what you're doing before.
You were representing the people because you were one of them.
Right.
No. The entire reason why we're a republic democracy is because we wanted elites. That is the entire basis of federalist versus anti-federalist. Because the way it was ended up sending up was because we want an elected elite that knows more than the common denominator.
That's eventually what happened.
No, that was
from the beginning. No, that's what
from the beginning. That was the entire federalist versus anti-federalist debate. Hey, do we go true democracy or do we go? No, we have elites that we vote into office who know better than us.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well.
Yeah, but at the same time,
but they did do a good job of that, of just trying to be like, hey, no, we.
Well, fuck them for exploiting that.
I mean, that.
Fuck you for bringing it up.
Welcome to.
That was the way the law was written, and it's still on the books to this day. I mean, that's how it is.
They did a good job of that, though, because there were so many anti-federalists at that point to to push back. That's why we have a Bill of Rights, is because anti-federalism ensured that there was a Bill of Rights, so that these elites couldn't have supreme control, etc.
You're an elite.
I wish, but
your mom's elite, Graham.
Yeah. Hey. So I had a mom.
But no, like they did. That's also something they did a good job, though, is they did try to make it what you guys are saying, and you're right. Try to make it so no, if you think someone would serve as an elite better, you can totally put them into office. They tried to set it up so that, hey, this gerrymandering, it was, hey, here's a block that's like 40% this group, 40% this group, 20% this group. So you actually have to fucking listen to all of them.
I do have a radical proposition.
What is it?
I think that
I would love to hear.
I think we should go back to public financing of elections.
Yeah.
But I also think that we should like quadruple or like quintuple the pay for representatives so people actually want the job.
You're the Antichrist. What the fuck is? What are you talking about?
No, like you should.
You don't think that would just make it more corrupt?
No, because you should make it so that you can get into that you can get into politics without being independently wealthy. It's a very important job. Make it like a very important job.
But if it was
be bribing the public.
No, they would be bribing the public,
jobs.
but it would be
fancy jobs.
It would be transparent, because if you
it is now, isn't it?
No, it's not.
No.
No, but like what he's saying is like, yeah, you can totally bribe. You can, if it's publicly funded, yes, you can have a corporation or a mega millionaire say like, hey dude, I just gave this guy $1 million fucking dollars, but everyone knows.
No, like I'm talking about like the actual like public financing of elections, so everybody follows us
for that. If it's just tax money.
Yeah, there's no outside money. For that.
Yeah.
But make the positions pay a lot more, so you don't have to be independently wealthy to run for fucking Congress.
So you don't have 50% lawyers end up.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
No, I agree with that, because that to me, that's just common sense is the wrong word, but like that's the way most of like the best work that's been done has actually been done, is when you have a very diverse team of people.
Yeah, like Apple.
Actually approaching everything and saying like, hey, we could do this, and then someone's like, no.
But when do they change?
Et cetera, et cetera.
When do they change? Look at, like, for example, I'm kidding. I'm not saying, like, look at
have like a 12-year limit, whatever. But like that's how a lot of the best work in history has been done, is when you have a very diverse group of people saying, I'll actually putting in
but that's
amount of effort.
But that's when people are willing to compromise.
Exactly.
They're not willing to compromise anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. No, that's why it's good. But yeah.
All right. This is too
But then
depressing
they become
for
elite,
me.
and then we're all fucked.
I'm over it.
Just how fucked are we? Skills? Just tell me.
Dude,
are we last
hold
show
up.
on Twitch fucked?
It's been a while. Is this the darkest timeline?
Mm-hmm.
Guys, we were split whether this was the darkest timeline or not last time we checked.
I was optimistic as fuck.
Graham, yeah, you were the holdout. Are we in the darkest timeline?
Mm-hmm.
No, we're not.
I think things could be way worse than they are right now. So we're not in the darkest timeline.
Okay.
I was a lot more confident at the beginning of this administration, because I really felt like, we've survived 40 some presidents already. We've gotten through a couple hundred years. So like, one president, he's not going to be able to do so much that he can tear down all the work that's been put in.
Oh, he's trying.
And like, as time goes on, I'm like,
he's going to fuck everything up.
Yeah, I was a little overly optimistic about that. And it's because, and the thing is, it's because of who he is and how he acts.
Yeah, it's shitty personality.
It's the way that he treats other countries. It's the way that he treats other people. It's the way that he treats his own citizens. It's the way that he treats the laws that he put into place, with just like utter disregard and disrespect.
He's a hustler.
It's
straight up.
It's kind of crazy.
I think you might have been here, but I mean, since Aragon. Aragon. The fucking dragon lord of
type Erdogan.
The fucking dragon lord of Turkey.
Aragon.
Yeah, no, ever since he came on American soil and had let his bodyguards beat the living shit out of American citizens, fuck him.
I mean, yeah, that was during Obama's presidency too. That happened.
But he defended
It's since
him.
they like Gaddafi
He defended it.
going to tent.
Yeah, the issue is the
Whatever
issue will always
It's
arise
on
from
both sides. Like fuck
from
it.
Turkey
Fuck 'em.
Turkey being a NATO ally.
I mean,
You still can't.
When they've never met the ideals of other NATO allies.
Yeah,
Fresh, this is when the alcohol starts kicking in.
Not
and
be
it
allowed to
show
come
class.
onto
I don't-
American soil and beat the living shit
I
out
don't
of
I don't
American
I don't want to
citizens.
get into it.
Not that
This is
good.
where it
I don't
happens.
want to get
Fresh,
into
in case
this.
you didn't
It's
know.
already 12:30. I'm already depressed.
I mean, but,
Start drinking.
but Turkey's only become this much of a shit show in the past
True.
decade.
True.
Previous to that, like Turkey was almost a country that you hold up as an ideal.
Oh no, I don't.
You know what I
I'm
mean?
not
Like-
saying that as disparaging. to
Hey,
it.
they're the only
Right,
country on
right.
2 continents.
I'm just there's a few bad apples in Turkey, and I think we should
Hey,
take
get
note.
it? Turkey and apples? This is where the show falls apart. Just
All
in
right.
case you didn't know, Fresh.
Yep. We're getting out of here. Hopefully there's
Alcohol kicks in, show falls apart.
hopefully there's some better news to cover next week.
Hey,
I
fucking Theo never came on.
Fucking pray. No, Theo never
No,
came
we'd have
on.
to keep going
Yeah,
and going and
Australian.
going.
But,
Probably right
shut
around
it
here
down.
somewhere.
but yeah, if you are if you're affected by the world events, don't watch the news this week. It's only
I'm not
it's
at
only
all.
getting worse.
I'm off the grid, man.
Just,
I'm gonna put down a 5 that we enter at least one more trade war.
Yeah,
I mean-
probably.
I'm gonna be all over Crunchyroll. Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Crunchyroll.
There you go. That's the better way to go.
Yeah, just pretend just watch anime, pretend nothing happens. There you go.
Exactly.
That's
exactly
the
what you
key
should
to
do.
being happy in 2018.
You don't see me surprised at
Is
like
my
94%
paycheck
of-
is my paycheck still coming in? Can I watch Dragon Ball Super?
There you go.
Paycheck.
That's the 2 priorities in my life right
There
now.
you go.
Got it.
But
Got it.
fresh, thanks for coming on, co-host. Thank
Oh, it
you
was a
guys.
pleasure, man.
Thank you guys for
I had,
coming
I had a
on.
lot of fun.
Yeah, we will see the viewers on.
Well, most of them. Some
Oh
of them
shit!
cancel.
Today's not the. Oh yeah, it was the 19th. We'll see you
Well,
guys
Bryson
on.
resubscribed, so we're good.
Nice.
We'll
He's
see.
back.
We'll see you guys on July 26th. Thanks for tuning into the show. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button. If you didn't, hit that dislike button.
You should
Leave
start saying
a
that.
comment. Either way, tell us how shit we are.
Leave a like.
Hit
Fuck
that
all you,
subscribe
Stomach.
button. We'll see you guys next week. Here's the outro music. Fucking enjoy it. We hate you guys almost as much as we hate ourselves.
I hate
More.
myself a lot more.
Yeah.
Well,
It's a hell of a tagline to go out on.
Yeah.
they're cut. Oh,
Oh, Jesus. What does that say about you, Graham?
that's how no. They're listening to it. Oh, which one? Did I claim to not be a fuck?
Got very peculiar tastes.
It's the only way. It's the only way Graham gets through his day. The thought of his significant other getting railed out by
No.
somebody else.
It's got to be on phone.
Fair enough.
I'm only concentrating on that.
Which part? That's up to you, the viewers.
That's what I'm